and welcome to the Comic-Spiracy, episode 323 for the week of September 5th, 2017. My name is Ryan Higgins, who's here with me this week.
Bryce Sager.
Bryce.
Toby.
And Charlie.
Whoa, look at that. No tomfoolery in the intro, just getting right to it.
Oh, we want to get to something juicy on this episode.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, Charlie? We'll talk to Charlie
Charlie
in a
is
few minutes
juicy?
here. We'll talk to Charlie in a few minutes here.
Claudia says so.
Whoa. We're going to talk about some comic books. We're going to talk about some movies. We're going to talk about a direct TV show. Yeah, we're going to talk about everything this week. We're going to spoil the shit out of a bunch of stuff. So if you don't want to be spoiled on Secret Empire, Defenders, or Batman and Harley Quinn, the animated movie, probably not the episode for you, but we got a bunch of questions at the back half, so definitely keep listening for that. Not a lot of news. Very quiet news weeks. It's, I don't know, end of summer. Not a lot of
coming back from summer break and
not a lot of comic news,
getting
but
back into the grind.
But we're going to talk about some things that we've watched and seen and read. So again, spoiler warning. Spoiler level 3. I'm just going to beat you all to the punch. So
Yeah, well,
Spoiler
barely.
let's talk about some Secret Empire. Who read Secret Empire?
I did.
Yep.
Fuck.
The not so secret empire.
See, this is why you need to shut the TV off when we
Toby,
record.
no, Toby didn't read
Toby's
it.
like
He's
a
just watching Doctor
child.
Who
He's
while we're all
watching.
talking.
What's that?
You didn't read Secret Empire, did you?
No.
Yeah, just
Okay.
keep watching Doctor Who. It's fine.
So that's why you have it on.
Just to distract Toby. So when Secret Empire started, this is Marvel's current big event that just wrapped up. Although there's still like a prologue issue to come out, but or epilogue issue to come out. But I was actually pretty big on it when it came out. I thought the first couple issues were pretty decent. The setup was cool. I didn't care for the actual Cap run leading up to it, but I liked the idea behind it. And this is going to become a recurring topic this night. But man, I think if Secret Empire was maybe 5 issues, it would have been a pretty good story. But wow, it didn't need to be 12. It was 10 issues, a one-shot.
It's like a running theme with you these days.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
have a thought about that because I actually agree with that, and I think back to I felt that way about Iron Fist, the Netflix series, and the Luke Cage series, and the Jessica Jones series, and I wonder, is that actually that it would be better, or maybe that all things would be better that way?
Well, let's
or if it's just me being an old.
We'll
man.
talk about it.
Well-
We'll talk about Defenders shortly, but.
No. But I mean, I'm saying, in everything, is this just a thing of me getting older and maturing? Whether or not my wife believes so.
Well, I feel like in Secret Empire, again, we'll start talking specifics here in a second. But the first couple issues, the setup was interesting. I actually thought the final issue was fine. Maybe the last 2 issues are fine, but everything in the middle was
great.
just the characters running in circles and.
Yeah.
I think it kind of lost steam when it was like, oh, we have to hunt for pieces of the cosmic cube. Like it's like, huh?
No tension, no fear that anything matters. No, they as long as it was, they actually kind of rushed through this stuff really fast. Like this could have been 6 issues or like a 3-year-long story. I feel like they're like we set up all this stuff.
No way, man.
Well, no, they set up the whole dark dimension. The characters getting sucked into the dark dimension. The whole searching for the cosmic cube parts could have been a story arc per segment of the cube, right? If you really want to flesh this out.
I disagree, but keep going.
Well, no, I mean, it feels like they both. It was too long for what they tried to do, but they could have gone even longer and actually fleshed these stories out. We got a big story that was just kind of glossed over. I mean,
Because
so agree, disagree?
you know how it's going to end up because of what the cosmic cube itself is. It's a reset.
So the reason I feel this way when we're constantly talking about the should have been this many issues or this many episodes kind of comes down to they decide how many issues something's going to be before they've really fleshed out what they're going to do over those issues or those episodes.
for stuff like this, yeah.
When it comes
but
to,
is that true? I feel like in the past, big story arcs have they. Like, what was the last big event that they thought was going to be 8, and then they decided it was going to be 9 or whatever?
Secret Empire and Civil War II both got issues added to it.
Right, so...
And in a weird way, I feel better when that happens because that typically means that their story requires more.
Okay, fair enough. I totally disagree,
it's like
but
TV shows. When the TV show gets an extra long finale or whatnot, that typically is deserving of an extra long finale.
so that's different than an extra long finale. That's the equivalent of like padding in an extra episode, which I think is for padding in extra advertising or extra comic sales in this case. So I disagree.
Depends on where the request is coming from. If the request is coming from Marvel, is different than if the request is coming from the writer.
Sure, but do any of us have the insight as to where these requests come from?
Very rarely, but
I
sometimes.
don't. Maybe Higgins does.
Yeah, no,
Charlie loves it either way.
I'm sure it's both Marvel approaching them saying, "Hey, this is our big seller. Can you extend this an issue or two?" But like I said, there was so much story potential in Secret Empire that they could have had this go on for a much longer time. Again, an arc devoted to hunting down the different parts of the cube, actually exploring the heroes caught in the dark dimension. They were all caught in cloak, right? When they all get sucked, the dark. What was it called?
The Dark Force dimension.
Yeah. That's where they all. That's where they.
That's where his power like comes from, but they're not stuck in his cloak.
Well, that's where they hid Manhattan, right? They all got sucked in there,
right? Because of that. Again, spoilers for Not So Secret Empire. What was it? Blackout that Maria Hill caps in the end.
Yeah.
Was it Blackout? Right. I think it was Blackout.
Something like that.
Some C-list villain that also has the Dark Force dimension.
Right.
He was created in the 80s. And actually, fact check that for me, Toby. Stop looking at Porno.
Porn?
I didn't say it.
Oh.
Keep going.
Yeah, no. So, the whole pitch here is Captain America, as we all know, has secretly been a Nazi this whole time, been a Hydra agent this whole time because of
retconned into a Nazi,
right?
Yes,
because of changes.
Charlie is right. Confirmed.
The Red Skull used the cosmic cube to change history. We won't even mention Kobik. Just ignore that entirely.
But Kobik's important.
Yeah,
just call her the cosmic cube. It doesn't matter. Don't ever say that name again.
Dude, what are you talking about, though? That's like part of the problem with this series.
I never want to see this character again.
Right, but that's endemic of this whole argument against it.
Red Skull has a child that is the physical embodiment of the cosmic cube that he corrupts into thinking that Hydra is the best thing on Earth, and she rewrites history.
Yeah.
So that Cap was always a secret Hydra agent, and now Hydra can finally take over the world and do things the right way. And
finally.
But of course, Kobik, throughout the course of the series, realizes that was a mistake. And
not throughout the course of the series. You mean the last two issues?
Well, yeah, I guess you don't see her at all, and then suddenly she's like, "Oh, hey, I did a bad thing."
Yeah, that was kind of annoying. But keep going.
Well, this is the problem. If you take the story for what it is, again, I thought it was interesting enough. If you take it for what Marvel said it was going to be, that's where it really starts to break down, because they said it was Cap all along. It's the real Captain America. He's doing this of his own volition. It's not the Cosmic Cube. It's not going to be a big reset at the end. And what happens? Cosmic Cube did it all. Kobik did it all. It all resets at the end.
I do wonder what it's like sometimes in your life where you like listening to these marketing people and then you believe them and then you're not surprised when it's like exactly what you thought all along. And meanwhile,
why would they give these interviews and just straight up
There
lie?
are others of us that are just not listening to Marvel tell these lies and are not surprised when it happens and then come into the podcast and hear you complain about it. Like, yeah, okay, so you were right and you thought you were going to be right the whole time. I agree with what you thought and didn't.
No, I would
Marvel.
like to be like, oh, okay, they're not going to use the Cosmic Cube to get out of this. How do they do it? That's interesting. Oh, wait, no, it's just a Cosmic Cube. Okay, well, you had your answer from the first issue. You knew exactly how this was going to end.
Secret to life, don't listen to marketing people.
What I found DC has done over the last couple of years when they have these big events,
or salespeople,
I feel like it's been less focus on how can we have this world change because of this event, and it seems to be amazingly enough a little more character focused. I feel like the character changes in Forever Evil were the strong point of that series. Lex Luthor and Bizarro, Jessica Cruz.
Yeah.
That was the Green Lanterns getting the
you had the effect that had on Nightwing, which gave us grace.
Completely changed Nightwing story.
Where
I feel like Marvel's events are almost like we changed this thing and now we're going to kind of return it in the comic. There's no doubt in my mind, like I think we joked about this last week, there's no doubt in my mind that Metal ends with Batman winning. I mean, of course, that's, spoiler.
Spoiler level 0.
Yeah. But we're getting all these awesome new villains in it, and hopefully some of the Resistance and team stuff the Bat Out of Hell arc, hopefully that brings some cool elements. But
some awesome new villains like the Flash Batman and the Superman Batman and the Green Lantern Batman and the Wonder Woman Batman.
The man who laughs is gonna be fucking
and the
Cyborg
Batman,
the character of 2017,
and the Bizarro Cyborg Lantern Batman.
Have you seen the Joker Batman?
He looks creepy, but it's like, really cool new villains. Just Batman, the Batman take on all the villains that we know.
Hey, man.
Or heroes that we know.
Whatever it takes.
I agree, whatever it takes is like, wow.
But that's the thing. Going
never saw that.
Going into Metal, that's what they said. There's like they wanted something fun and kind of light.
Yeah.
This kind of, they make a mech Justice League thing in the first issue, and it's like...
they use these phrases all the time, but I don't recall Metal being pitched as this will change the DC universe forever.
He did say in your interview, Scott Snyder, that it was supposed to be like a fun summer whatever thing, but like it's going until February.
Yeah, I mean it started August, so Secret Empire. Again, I like where it ends because it brings Cap back to normal. Although we still have the one shot, so we don't still know, the Omega issue or whatever.
Oh, we don't know what happens to the Green Cap.
Yeah, that's sort of a weird
because he's sprawled out on the ground, and then you never see him in panel again.
Right.
Because he disappears, he's going to team up with the Maker, and he's going to terrorize the Ultimates.
Charlie.
No, I was just going to say they made a comment when Cap actually comes back that Cap was in flux at the time. Like I'd have
in what story was this?
In issue 10, like they had some throwaway line about how either one of them could be the true Cap. Basically, I kind of got the impression that because he defeated him, he's probably going to sort of vanish and kind of get reabsorbed into whatever cosmic ether created this.
Well, I mean, unless it's something where Kobik took the memory. That's what apparently that Phantom place is like the memory of who Steve Rogers was. And
we were talking about this last week. That's what I thought, but going back and rereading it, it's not exactly clear because she's in the little Kobik world or whatever, and when they send the characters off to the vanishing point to have their Generations one-shots, those take place. All those Generation one-shots take place between two panels in Secret Empire, where Kobik's like, "I'm fading away. Go have an adventure. Okay, bye. See ya. I love you." And then they just return immediately, and that's where all those books take place. So it felt like, oh yeah, that's in the Kobik's little world, but maybe not. It's not really explained.
Oh, by the way, I like Kobik being personified. I like the whole Franklin Richards thing that she's got going on, where she's this like crazy powerful thing personified.
But Franklin Richards is a character that we had time. I mean, obviously, we were all adult. We were all reading comics. He already had this sort of power. But this is a character that over 20 years, 30 years, gained abilities. This is he didn't have abilities like the first time you saw him.
Right, he didn't.
The very first line when Captain America comes out of the cube and Hydra Captain America says, You're not real. Captain America said, "Best I understand it, that's somewhat up for grabs at the moment."
Yeah, that's just,
and that's where I kind of take it as
that's just bravado. That's just he's talking shnikes.
Or it could be that whoever kind of comes out ahead in that battle becomes the sort of real reality Captain America.
No, confirmed. Charlie's no longer right.
No, I feel like there's going to be some sort of like weird merge of these characters.
No, dude, it's going to take the next writer that has writer's block is going to be like, oh, hey, surprise, remember evil green Captain America?
There's still the one shot, and we don't, I mean, that'll do something with...
That'll tell us if Green Cap is in a prison somewhere or if he's gone, because Kobik apparently didn't get rid of him when she kind of righted everything.
And I'm actually not...
And that's why when Cap says is kind of up for grabs at the moment, that's kind of how I interpreted that.
I'm not really against Hydra Cap sticking around as a character they can use down the road. Kind of Cap's,
just like Maker.
Kind of like Cap's Hush, you know?
Yeah.
Let's do a reference anyone cares about, Bryce.
I love Hush. I do not like Green Cap. Hush is...
I'm just having fun. Remember the clone Steve Rogers Red Skull? Yeah, that works out.
I don't remember that.
I don't know that, but I do know Hush. What is wrong with me?
That roided out Cap.
But I feel like someone should rewrite this story to have it just be better.
That's pretty weak, man.
No, I mean, it feels like this maybe could have been a pretty decent book, just with more.
Well, the thing is there's like you said, there's a lot of stuff in here that the development could have been done a lot better on. Like, I really kind of was interested in seeing the stuff with the Serpent Society, you know.
Nothing is given a moment to
really flourish.
To breathe in this book. No, it's,
the relationship that Hydra Steve has with everybody else. Those were interesting points, but they were just kind of glossed over. And
I think a lot of that was built up in
I read
elements of Cap. No,
I read Cap, and it's basically saying, oh, look how their relationship is kind of different, and you see kind of the buildup for what's her name that gets obliterated and nuked. Like the one that he thinks is
surrogate mom.
The surrogate mom lady. Yeah. Like, if you didn't read
Hydra,
any,
right?
If you didn't read any of the Cap,
she's in like 2 panels, right?
If you didn't even read any of the Steve Rogers Cap, you'd be like, he cares about this lady? Why? She dies? Okay, who cares? So it's like there's a lot more to the story from other aspects,
right?
But like you said, there are things that could have been developed a lot more, in tangent with this. Like, I can see a few issues of tie-in books developing these things as we go.
I don't need fucking.
I know.
Just like,
but I don't need this for 3 fucking years.
No.
Just like we have different levels of spoilers now, thanks to Mr. Higgins, we need different levels of tie-ins. Like, tie-in level 1 are the ones that you should actually read. Tie-in level 3s are the ones that Bryce will buy because he's an idiot. Tie-in level 2 is, I don't know. Maybe Charlie's buying those.
My rule for tie-ins in general is if it's written by the writer who's doing the event, it tends to be worth reading.
Right. Just like the Avengers stuff with the Hickman Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh,
Charlie's right again. Back to right.
A lot of people have said, a lot of people have, laid blame at Marvel for the last 18 months, kind of being, the books haven't been very good. And
oh, really? A lot of people have been doing that, Higgins?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I haven't seen a single one at this table.
And the sales have kind of suffered from it. But I'm actually going to go a little bit earlier than that, because we were going through all our back stock and we pulled out all that Secret Wars crossover stuff. I'm putting that as the breaking point for Marvel, because, man, some of those were fucking awful.
No, the
majority of those were fucking awful.
The only ones that I could say for Beyond a Shadow, there's only really one Beyond a Shadow of a Doubt you should read, and that's Old Man Logan.
And that was the Marvel Universe for 6 months, right? It was those books. I think that's the breaking point of Marvel.
Wait, how long ago was that?
2 years.
Oh my god, that was longer than 18 months ago?
Yeah.
Where's my life going?
I mean, it went through Secret Empire, and then I think it was 2 years ago, basically now, so it was almost 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago now is when...
No, that was an anomaly. There were some good tie-in books, but it was great beforehand and it was great afterwards, so confirmed.
Some. Not many.
I don't know. I kind of feel like, and mind you, I don't necessarily think that this is just Marvel, but I kind of feel like in general, the books that were great 2 years ago are still great. We just haven't had a lot of new... editions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vision came and went, and that was about it. Well,
Other
the
than like
X-Men
X-Men
stuff.
Gold.
Yeah,
and
the
that
X-Men stuff
yeah.
has
But it's like
performed.
most of the stuff prior to Secret Wars is the same stuff I'm excited to read now in terms
Yeah.
of Marvel.
Yeah.
Like there hasn't been,
There's-
other than the X-Men books
like
and the
Thor
Cable book
and-
and that stuff, there haven't been that many new stuff I want to jump in on.
Yeah,
And-
the only thing that came out of Secret Wars was Old Man Logan. And
Which
that
was great.
And
Yeah.
that's Jeff Lemire. But yeah, I mean, that was a slew of fucking just God.
There was a lot of really bad tie-ins.
Like
Yeah.
Angela 1817.
Oh, God.
Like,
X-Men
X-Men
92, don't
2.
forget that.
Don't
Well,
you
but that was
remind me of
That
that.
was a
Their
special
Age for
case.
Extinction,
Yeah.
years of future past.
Yeah,
Like
that's some rough fucking books on that.
that was.
Anyway, this actually was not supposed to be an episode where we bitch about everything, but that's what it's going to turn into because we're covering 3 things that I don't think we have a lot of good stuff to talk about. So let's move on to the next
Spoiler.
topic.
What? You keep
Wait,
saying
wait,
we.
nobody else got to talk about Secret Empire.
Talk all you want about it. You were
It
replying
was
to everything I said.
it was very
It was fine.
good. It was it was yeah. I mean,
9 out of 10 on the Bryce scale.
no, that would be the hypocrite Higgins scale.
It was pretty all right.
It was I hate to say better than Fear itself because that means that it might be a 1 out of 10. No, it was good. I totally disagree that it should have gone longer. I couldn't stand Hydra Cap being Hydra Cap for any longer. Although I do grant you that the Dark Force Dimension stuff was awesome.
What I meant was the stories they set up, they have to gloss over so quickly because it's just
Yeah.
a small event book. It's not like
Yeah.
a long story.
Okay, that's
right?
fair. I mean, I loved the whole in the Doctor Strange book, they had Kingpin being a good guy, and his whole thing was, I'm the kingpin of the city. Without the city, I'm nothing. I love the city. I'm going to protect the city so that I get to continue to rule it. And it was like,
Well, he
That's kind of what
he
the
pretty much
Kingpin
said
is
he was
anyways.
investing in the future because
Right.
people are going to remember who helped out, and
Yep.
there was no way the heroes are going to leave it this way.
yep. So anyway, I love Doctor Strange. I mean, I think that this had way better tie-ins than Secret Wars.
But it was just 3 months of random one-shot tie-in issues. It wasn't like 5 to 6 issue.
There was a great
miniseries.
single issue of Mighty Thor where it just tells the story of how she's trapped in a separate world. That was a good issue.
Huh?
No, that was a Wade Avengers book where they had the one shot where she was. trapped on the-
Was?
Yeah.
You're right, because Del
Thor
Mundo did
hasn't-
the art.
Thor hasn't crossed
You're right.
over with-
It was Del Mundo that did the art.
hasn't-
Yes, but still, it was basically an Avengers title that was only about Mighty Thor, and she was killing it on her alien world, and it told that story great. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot to add. It wasn't great, but I did think that it was good, and recommend if you're looking for a good summer story that ends in the summer. This was a good story.
Hey. Charlie, we need to talk. Okay, Charlie. So, Bryce, what do you think of Charlie? What do you think? Besides tall and ruggedly handsome,
and likes Cable more, and
when do you think of Charlie? Do you think about someone that just kind of likes everything?
If I were to, this is a big if, but if I were to put together, let's just say randomly a bingo sheet, I think Charlie
Is the free
likes
spot?
so many things that he is the free square in the middle. That if you had to ever guess something that would be a certainty, it would be that Charlie likes something.
So, would you think Charlie would like a Paul Dini? Paul Dini?
No, it was not Paul Dini. It was Bruce Timm.
Bruce Timm written Batman, Harley Quinn, direct-to-DVD animated movie based in the style of Batman the Animated Series?
I think Charlie would leave his family for that.
Charlie,
Sorry, boys.
what did you think of Batman and Harley Quinn, the direct-to-DVD animated movie that just came out a couple weeks ago?
Okay, pause so he can add the intro music
Because I've heard some stuff.
for Dark Charlie.
Dark Charlie.
so this
Charlie.
is one of those
That's
cases
the
where
goatee, Charlie.
I don't have a really redeeming thing to say about most of it, because what it comes down to is the art is really bad in places in this movie, like really bad. Like I don't know how they went to, we're going to go back to a style that we did for so long and then fuck it up in places. I do not get it.
Holy smokes.
The story itself, even though it's a really fucking basic story, had a lot of things really wrong with it and the way they kind of dealt with it. The wrap up was just, it was kind of making a parody of itself in a lot of ways. Yeah, I'm just going to start spoiling stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
Can you spoil something that's shit?
so the main story is Poison Ivy and the Floronic man team up and basically get in their heads. If we can replicate what created Swamp Thing and do it to every living thing on the planet, every living thing on the planet will be plants, and therefore the world will be better.
Sounds like the greatest movie of all time.
Batman gets involved directly because if they screw up anything in their calculations, everything on the planet is just going to die.
Toby's a big fan of everyone dying.
Yes, apparently. So they go through the typical, we have to find somebody who knows Poison Ivy really well. So we'll go find a reformed Harley Quinn who is working at basically a Hooters, but with like people dressed up as Power Girl and people dressed up as Harley Quinn and people dressed up as all the female DC characters. So it's a Hooters filled with women dressed up as DC characters.
So it's just misogyny.
Yeah. So she's dressed up, of course, as Harley Quinn.
It would have been so much better if they like had her as Catwoman or something.
That is
Actually,
a twist I didn't see coming.
that was one thing I did appreciate about that scene is you had like
the Hooters?
Yes, the Hooters scene.
Confirmed.
They had some of the classic costumes in a Bruce Timm style. So like you had the more classic like purple Catwoman suit in there and such. So I did appreciate that touch on it. So
and then that quickly went away.
Nightwing is the one that gets sent to find Harley, finds her, gets bested by her.
What? No. Fuck this movie.
Yeah.
In the arse.
Wow.
Because she manages to basically prick him with some Joker toxin that she's watered down or whatever. Takes him back to her place, straps him down to the bed, starts changing in front of him, realizes he gets turned on.
This sounds like a great movie.
Did she rape him?
Wow.
Hey.
And then they do the classic, the things I do for my city line from Nightwing.
Oh, God.
And then Batman shows up later and gets all judgmental and all that.
Oh, I thought you were going elsewhere with that storyline. Batman shows up later, and what are you doing there?
Can you spell it out for us, Bryce?
Then they go to a Batmobile scene.
Wait, is that the classic scene, the now classic scene of Harley with two butts?
Huh?
Yeah.
Did you see this picture online? There's a still frame from it where she's like bending over in her underwear, and she has like a butt crack, and then like the top of her butt has like another butt crack. It's like they drew it twice.
Yeah.
Okay, between the two of you, this is like the worst movie review I've ever heard.
As I said, the animation gets really terrible in parts too.
Why would she
but-
rape Nightwing? Just cause?
Just cause.
Okay.
Well, you know, Batgirl
Then-
and Batman had a relationship.
That was horrible horseshit, too.
Then all three of them are in the Batmobile because she can take... Oh, wait. I skipped a part.
Oh, God.
So they're
I don't think you need to.
Make this end.
No. Then they're driving to where she's supposedly going to take him for a lead. She says, "Stop! The guy's right there." Jumps out, beats up an old boyfriend of hers,
Okay.
Was it Deadshot?
and then goes no, and then does the okay. Now I'll take you to actually where we can find a lead on where Poison Ivy is. Takes
How does Harley have an old boyfriend the Joker hasn't killed at this point?
I don't know.
You haven't been reading the current Harley
He must be a
series.
badass fucking boyfriend.
Wait, are all these like movies in continuity, like ish?
Nah. I mean, to the comics, no.
Well,
To
no, I know.
themselves,
I'm into themselves.
Some are. Some connect.
Kind of. This is part of what frustrates me about this movie. They have Kevin Conroy doing the voice of Batman. They have the guy who does the voice of Robin and Nightwing from the series do the voice there.
But
they
Mark Hamill?
recast the voice of Harley. Not that they haven't recast it before.
Was
but
it Tara?
No.
Fuck that bullshit.
Well,
It was a chick from The Big Bang Theory.
isn't she
Oh,
usually
Jesus.
not Harley? Anyways?
Oh wait, they had the
Well,
the
anyway.
blonde.
Wait,
I think
wait.
so.
No, Tara,
Oh.
it's not usually Harley. It's someone else.
She's been all
Well,
the Arkham
Arlene
stuff.
Sorkin was
Yeah.
Harley, and then she got replaced with Tara Strong in like Arkham City, and I do not know why they replaced Arlene
Yeah.
Sorkin.
Okay, yeah, because Tara is more known as Batgirl.
but she's been doing Harley in a number of things
Yeah.
for years now.
She's my Harley voice.
Yeah.
Okay, that was like you will never be hired for honest trailers. That was the most
Then
Bryce.
no, I'm
rambling,
going to keep going
Terrible
because this,
synopsis.
It keeps going.
Okay.
Well, let me
Just keep
let me
getting
interrupt for just 1 second, Charlie, here, because Bryce, I know you haven't seen too many of these. There are a few that are not great. There are a few that are really good. Most of them, I think, of the animated DC movies are just fine. Most of them
Yeah.
are just very serviceable. There's only a couple that I think are really good, but there's a couple that are not great. This is the only one where I've had people tell me, like, it's straight up, it is the absolute worst.
I
of
heard
these,
people call it a fan film.
like, not even, like, yeah, just poor on a level that these have never been. And of all the things, Batman and Harley, like, what
Yeah. I do not know
Misfire.
why Paul Dini wasn't involved in making this movie.
maybe because he looked at the script and went, "This is a fucking piece of
Yeah,
trash."
maybe. But then, of course, you go into a scene in the Batmobile where Harley's complaining about having stomach issues and starts farting in the Batmobile.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Dude,
until Batman finally agrees to pull over.
Do you think they maybe tried to take like some of the comedy of like the more recent comic?
I don't know
and
what the fuck they were doing.
applied it to the cartoon, and it just like
And
it doesn't work.
So
or-
then they go to a henchman bar where she can go find an ex-henchman. But Harley ends up having to sing. One of the henchmen comes over and tries to get Batman to do the Batusi, and he just won't do it. But the animation
Okay,
of
that's
that
kinda
scene was
funny.
horrible.
this sounds like my worst nightmare.
And a lot of the henchmen were dressed up from like the 60s Batman.
did they have this black shirt that says henchman on it?
No, but they had like some of the classic like I think it was like the like leopard print that some of the Catwoman's henchmen had.
Okay, yeah.
Wouldn't that be Cheetah's henchman?
And then
Oh, Bryce.
Harley does a song number which again just seemed like they looped certain scenes in the animation to save money.
If it's not as good as Batman singing for Wonder Pig, or it's not as good as the Birds of Prey song, don't even bother.
Yeah. So then they finally get a lead to go basically catch up with Poison Ivy, go through all this stuff of Harley supposedly betraying, but not really betraying. And they kind of split off where Harley's fighting Poison Ivy and Batman and Nightwing
Harley's wedding Poison Ivy?
fighting.
Oh,
And Batman and Nightwing are getting their asses kicked by the Floronic Man.
Sure,
Because that's what you do.
sure.
Harley finally gets Poison Ivy to back down by taking off her hood, wiping off her makeup, and crying.
Okay.
And that's what turns Poison Ivy to their side. Not appealing to any level of... And this is one of the things that really sort of ticked me off about this. Poison Ivy's like, oh, well, if we got it wrong and we kill all the plants, that's okay. And I'm like, no. That would never be okay with Poison Ivy,
Yeah.
risking the plants. Risking all the animals is fine, but risking the plants wouldn't work. So then Poison Ivy changes sides, but then gets punched out by the Floronic Man anyways.
And this Floronic Man must
Then
be really strong.
Swamp Thing shows up.
No, I didn't see that.
Swamp
coming
Thing
at all.
shows up just to say, this is beneath me, and then leaves.
did he mean like the quality of the movie?
And then Harley, and this is how the movie ends. Harley's like, well, you do realize he's just a big thing of leaves. Anybody got a match? And then it like fades to black.
Dun, 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 dun.
And then a little while later, it comes back for a second just to see Floronic Man on fire running across the swamp. And that is this movie.
What the?
This
Wow.
is like
Were
my
you-
worst nightmare
Were
come
you
true.
supposed to smoke a couple of jointies before you watch it?
I
Do it have a
don't
disclaimer
know,
for the
but
movie?
it's like
Well, he did, and he
it's a
said it wasn't any
horrible,
better.
it's a horrible parody of itself. It's a horrible follow-up to Batman the Animated Series. It's got horrible animation. Like, I kind of feel like somebody just took one look at the earliest draft of this movie and went, there's no saving it. Just release it. It's not worth thinking another dime into this movie.
Ship it.
Well, dude, I wonder how true that is because, like, you have a title like Batman and Harley. You know, that's like that's like titling a movie Batman versus Superman. Like, no matter how shit it is, it's gonna like make a lot of money.
Here's the thing, and I'll ignore any of your BVS or Suicide Squad comments here. They're pushing this thing really hard. Like, if it's that bad, usually they're just like, and there it is. We just don't talk about it again. Like, they're really pushing this thing.
Do you think this is a Bruce Timm thing?
It's absolutely a Bruce Timm thing.
No one wants to say no to him. Like, this is the script I'm doing and writing, and people really go, what the fuck is this? But they can't say anything because
Kevin
Bruce
Smith got fucking stoned, wrote this Harley farting scene, and we're like, yes, ship it. This is great.
And nobody has the balls to say this is bad.
So for those of us...
I remember the story when they were first promoting this where he's like, yeah, I took one look at the board on the stuff they had planned and I saw they were playing a direct-to-video Harley and he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And so they just gave it to him. And I'm seeing her going, especially if you're going to go back to the Batman the Animated Series style, the next phone call should have been to Paul Dini to write the script.
Yeah.
Like that should have been the next phone call.
Wait, so for those of us that don't know, which might be one or more of us out there, can you give a 30-second breakdown of who the hell Paul Dini versus Bruce Timm?
Bruce Timm was the artist design, and Paul Dini was the writer.
No, I want to hear from Charlie.
So
I only want to hear
exactly
it from you if you're going to be telling me about who's starring the next Deadpool movie. That's the only one I want to hear.
Off.
Paul Dini he wrote the character of Harley and then Bruce Timm designed it.
I need a Batman the Animated Series 101.
Okay.
But in 30 seconds.
Bruce Timm and Alan Burnett did a quick pitch, got Batman the Animated Series made, gathered together some great writers, the best being Paul Dini, to work on that show. As the show went on, Paul Dini got added as a producer to Batman Beyond and such. So, but historically, anything Harley Quinn was written by Paul Dini up until a few years ago.
Oh, yeah, he created her too, right?
Yeah, well, he absolutely created her. Whenever when they did the Harley origin episode of The Batman, that was written by Paul Dini.
Yeah.
Like, he may not have been writing the comics except for, like, the origin issue. Like, he did the origin he did Mad Love, and then he did the origin issue when they brought it in for, like, No Man's Land and stuff.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to Paul Dini, he is, like, the definitive voice of Harley.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to get the band back together to do a Harley story, especially in the Batman the Animated Series style, he should have been your first phone call because he is that definitive voice.
Well, maybe Bruce just wanted to tell his own Harley story and goes, "Take that, Paul! Look, it's out.
It's my Harley with two asses."
So who do you blame? By the way, that was an incredible 30-second intro. So
yeah, it was a Bryce 30 seconds. You're welcome.
No, that was definitely not a Bryce 30
But
seconds.
if you're actually curious about Paul Dini, read that Dark Knight that I gave you. Because that's
terrible radio. Brock just handed me Dark Knight, a true Batman story by Paul Dini and Eduardo Risso, a Vertigo story that I don't know what it's about, but apparently it's about Harley.
No, it's about Paul Dini.
Oh.
Well, it's not. He wrote it, right? I hope it's not about Paul Dini.
It is about Paul Dini.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a book about Paul Dini?
Yeah.
It's a book about how,
okay, let's keep the spoiler
while
level 1.
Working on Batman the Animated Series, Paul Dini got mugged and horribly beaten.
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, so he wrote a book about his trauma.
He takes
and that's that book.
Oh,
all the DC.
That's a way better description.
He takes all the DC stuff and kind of uses it as like a way to kind of recover from the trauma, and he sort of.
Oh yeah, it's a
random pick
it's a
of Brock is done.
phenomenal, great book.
Check that box. Good job, Brock. That's a good one. Okay, well, yeah, no, I mean, I will check it out, and I was not being sarcastic. That was a good, quick summary of the whole situation, Chaz. I just can't forgive anybody that puts fart jokes in adult media.
Well, farting has a special place with Ryan Higgins because that's the only reason why he doesn't write Iron Man 3.
They fart in Iron Man 3?
Yeah.
No, I would not like it if they farted in
the
Iron
main
Man
reason
3.
you didn't like Iron Man 3
more than once
was because of farting Mandarin.
Because Ben Kingsley
Did
let
he
one
fart
go.
in that?
Yeah, that's what you keep saying.
I don't remember him
No,
farting
he doesn't
in
like
it.
it because he's a buffoon. He doesn't like it. Anyway.
And the stupid kid.
Kid.
And
no, as far as kids go, that was the least aggressive.
So based on Charlie's review of this movie, are you glad you pre-ordered it from Amazon?
I mean, I already have it. It's sitting in my house. I buy them all. So I mean, no. But,
and the funny thing is, I'm the Harley guy, and I didn't buy it.
I mean, it'll end up on my DVD. It'll end up on my stuff I play here at the store, and maybe I'll see it someday.
You're saying it's 100 times better because there's no audio?
There's a bunch of these I actually haven't seen. I'm way behind on the animated movies, so there's a bunch I need to watch.
I think I'm current.
But I'll tell you what I am caught up on, and this is going to be me, Toby, and Charlie here. Bryce, Defenders. You watched any of it?
Oh yeah, I'm up to episode 6, but okay. I don't mind spoilers.
I know we had our
we only got 2 more to go.
Spoiler talk.
I'm about to step out and finish it. I've been loving it. I've been absolutely loving it.
Do you want to wait?
That's a spoiler.
For Bryce Man to finish it?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, what? Spoiler alert. Level fucking. I don't even. Oh, sorry. First swear.
They win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is not Secret Empire level spoiler alert.
Well, we did lose a good chunk, not a good chunk, but we did lose a not insignificant portion of Toby's discussion of it a few weeks ago when we had our...
We did?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, Ryan Higgins.
No, when you were doing your
fault.
Very light spoiler talk on the episodes.
We lost it?
Well, that's when we had 2 weeks in a row with the bad cable.
That's what you always say when I have a good run. And
there's no such thing as bad cable, you bastard.
A malfunctioning cord. How about that?
That's the terrible villain name.
The malfunctioning cord.
Sounds like something Omega Red would have a problem with.
Well, Bryce, next week or 2 weeks or something when you're done with Defenders, we'll
I'll definitely talk more. I can talk through the first 6 episodes, but man, I've been absolutely loving it.
Brock, you're not. No,
I haven't even watched Jessica Jones.
So Defenders. No, we are going to talk about Defenders, and we'll full spoilers, and we will talk about this. And Bryce, hopefully, again,
that's fine.
I'm going to go outside.
Like I said about Secret Empire, I feel like there could have been a much tighter story in, if they did this in 5 or 6 issues. Iron Fist, definitely. Luke Cage, definitely. A lot of these shows that the Marvel...
I'm sorry, you forgot to say Jessica Jones, definitely. Yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
Those two, if they cut in half, I think would have been much better shows. Jessica Jones could have lost an episode or 2. Daredevil maybe could have lost an episode.
This is all Ryan Higgins' own opinion,
of course. Daredevil Season 2 had major problems.
Do not fucking agree with that, man.
All right. Daredevil Season 2 had major problems that could not be solved by cutting it short. They would have had to cut out entire plot points. But...
oh my God.
If I have one complaint about Defenders, because I watched the first, I believe, 2 or 3 episodes when we first started talking about it, and I was really strong. I was really up on it, right? I really liked it. I was like, yeah, okay. Episode 1's a little slow, but you get introduce everyone. Cool. Episode 2 and 3, 2, you kind of move the plot along, and they get together at the very end. 3, they're together. Okay, perfect. I'm really liking this at this point. If it immediately went to episode 8, it would have been great. If it was 4 episodes long, it would have been great. But this is the same problem that I find the last couple of these Marvel shows have done. You fucking do nothing in the show for like 4 episodes. You just fucking spin around in circles, and those 4 episodes in the middle there before the very end are just... There's like nothing happens.
I'm sure your highbrow level of TV quality from your teenager CW TV shows are really good.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
When you have an 8-episode Netflix series, I'm expecting something very different than a 22-episode CW series. I fully understand that 30 minutes out of the 44 minutes of a CW show is 2 characters having the same conversation. And I have complained about this in the recent episodes. I felt Arrow got better. I felt Flash got worse. It's just like, Barry, fucking, you've had the same conversation 19 times. Could we get on with this, please? I feel like those shows go back and forth. I accept those shows as what they are. If they were 8 episodes, I wouldn't stand for it, right? But with Netflix, there should be no fat on this. It's only 8 episodes. And yet, man, does nothing happen in those 4 episodes in the middle there.
So I'm halfway through episode 6.
Yes, you've watched 4, 5, and 6.
So you think that the fat has been in 4, 5, and 6?
Yeah.
Oh man, I totally disagree. I'm the first one to call out Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage as being way longer than they needed to be. And I agree with you. I think that not only Jessica Jones, even though you don't agree with that, but Luke Cage and Iron Fist should have been half as long as they were. But so far, I mean, I haven't seen 7 or 8, and I haven't seen the back half of 6, but dude, I've been absolutely loving it. This is the first time that I can recall that we've had like a villain team. I mean, I'm trying to think of any other Marvel property.
Yes, you have multiple villains, but they're all kind of fucking useless. They don't do anything.
No, they're all badass, and they're all incredibly villainous, and they're all killing people, and they're great at kung fu. And it was a great call by whatever showrunner it was, I think, to have it be sort of like kung fu related, because they don't need to rely on special effects. That's a separate compliment that I'll pay to the series. But
I don't know, man. They stand around talking a lot and don't do anything until the last episode.
There's plenty of talking, but I actually felt during Iron Fist and Luke Cage like, holy effing S, this is crazy boring and could have like cut out entire episodes at a time with a brush of the hand.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, and again, I'm not done yet, but I mean, like, I've liked, I mean, they, battle a different member of the Five Fingers of the Hand in every episode, if not, 2 of them. The banter between them has always been great. The writing about each character has been, like, totally spot on.
I mean, if you're liking 4, 5, and 6
other than Renly Baratheon has been great.
Then you'll think 8's, like, the greatest thing that's ever been filmed, because 8, like, stuff happens. They actually have a fight, and they interact, and they're a team, and they do stuff. Like, they're just wandering around for 4 episodes. Nothing happens in those 4.
Dude, I was about to submit a question to our own Twitter to ask what you guys thought about. I just saw Iron Fist fight Daredevil. That was an awesome little scene, and that was in the middle of it. There wasn't like talking.
Yeah, that was fucking badass.
If that episode had been that scene alone, I would have sat around with blank screen for an entire episode. For the rest of it, it would have been like watching a Twin Peaks episode. But I would have just
fighting that classic villain Daredevil. I don't want them to fight themselves.
What
They're
the
fighting the
fuck are you talking about? Heroes never fight each other? You fucking love a little movie that was a piece of shit called Batman v Superman. Like, the whole premise of the title of that movie is that they're fighting each other. You tug on the dick of that movie every chance you get.
You're talking about the fight where they're in...
that classic villain Batman.
The fight where they're in the
warehouse. It's a fucking warehouse. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
There's a lot of warehouses in these shows.
Right,
Yeah, there are.
Sure.
It's hilarious.
It was fine, I guess. They're fighting... I mean, it's just sort of... Just they're talking in that warehouse for 3 episodes, and like, again, there's interesting stuff that happens, but I felt like there's just way too much fat on the show. Like, it should have been half. It should have been a movie. It should have been like a 3-hour movie, like 2.5 hour long movie.
Okay, I agree with that.
I'll agree on some of the fat a teeny little bit. But on the rest, I completely disagree.
But you didn't really like it, Toby.
Whoa. When you talk about it like this, I say fuck you, and I really like it a lot now.
So I'm curious, actually.
Nobody's curious if you liked it,
So
Charlie.
I know Bryce is still watching it, but I don't know how quickly he watched it. I know Toby binge watched it all right away.
Yeah.
I will be done tomorrow.
I know you watched some of it and then dragged on. Did you watch a little bit at a time, or did you binge watch the last bit?
It is almost impossible for me to binge watch anything. I don't do it. I watch an episode at a time, and the next night I watch another episode. Like, I cannot binge watch anything.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Part of it's me and Leanne want to watch it, different schedules.
Me too.
Falling asleep.
Me and Leanne. I mean, me and Leanne.
Secret Life of Bryce.
But,
and Leanne.
I just... I'm sure they thought the Iron Fist story was going to be amazing and it would carry it through, but this is just a continuation of the Iron Fist story. I think
it starts from Daredevil, all the shit you hate.
No, I totally disagree. I agree with Toby.
And that's why I was so curious to see if you're going to like it or not, because this is like all the stuff you literally hate.
Well,
this is the conclusion of the shit you hate.
I mean, the Elektra stuff.
This is Daredevil season 2.5.
Yes.
And kind of Iron Fist 2,
only a little bit, though.
I'm sorry, 1.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't finish Iron Fist, but I had no problem picking this stuff up. I mean, everything they said made sense.
Iron Fist was the worst. Don't finish it.
Yeah, there was nothing I needed to watch. I understood everything they were talking about there. Again, I think Elektra is better in this than she was in Daredevil, because at least there was only like
fucking disagree,
you are crazy. How do you run a podcast?
Because I mean, at least there was only like one time where Matt was trying to like get her to care about him, but for the most part,
two very distinct times.
Yeah,
but I mean,
he fucking crumbles
barely. But I mean, okay,
barely
at the very end. At the very end, when they're all about to die, whatever, that's fine. But I mean, during the show, he doesn't. I mean, in season 2 of Daredevil, it was non-stop. It was so awful.
Well, if you had a real Elektra in your life, you fucking agree.
No, I wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, you're insane. Goodbye.
Yeah, I agree to that.
You have a very high bar.
I don't fucking disagree with that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't stick around.
Guys do stupid shit for ladies.
Of course. And they're stupid. And I don't want Daredevil to be stupid. Again, the Daredevil Elektra
stupid, man.
Unlike the height of intelligence,
he's getting some Elektra.
Clark Kent.
The Daredevil Elektra relationship in the comics felt natural during the Miller stuff, and then I get a little bit of it, but I never felt it was natural in the show. And in this, when they continued this to me worked better. It made sense because he's like, oh, okay, well, I loved her, but we want to try to save her because she's been corrupted by the Hand. But he's rarely in this show being overly kind of romanticizing her. I feel like hardly
except
at all.
For the fact that the whole finale.
Again, as they're about to both die, I'm okay with that. He's trying to save her.
You're okay with him going, all right, Defenders, you guys go ahead. I'm going to just talk to my lady friend here to see one last time if I can knock some sense into her. So while we beat the fuck out of each other and then maybe have some poon time while the whole building falls on us.
But again,
sounds like quite the finale.
She's corrupted at that point. He's trying to...
she's so corrupt that he didn't even recognize her at first.
No. I believe that.
No, yes.
Okay, I believe him trying to save her because she's been corrupted by the Hand, or at this point, so he thinks. I don't buy it in Daredevil season 2 because I'm like, no, this bitch is just crazy. Why are you talking to her?
Crazy bitches are more fun.
But it makes no sense to me.
They're just more fun, though.
They are more fun.
I think there are good parts.
They might drive you fucking insane, but they're more fun. Trust me on this.
I think there's good parts of Daredevil. I think there's good parts of Defenders. But, what started off strong, Daredevil season 1 was pretty good. Jessica Jones, parts of Daredevil season 2, and then half of Luke Cage, and nothing with Iron Fist, and then it's like these shows.
It's not even half of Luke Cage. It's like 3/4 of Luke Cage, man. It's only like the last couple. I went a little slow. It's not even bad.
Would you say it's a chink in the armor?
No, the first 6, and then part of the first
You're
half of episode 7.
Wrong.
Okay, so if the listeners want,
in your personal opinion,
an accurate review and opinion, listen to Charlie. Go ahead, Charlie.
So to kind of wrap some of this up, the only flaw that I kind of felt in season 2 of Daredevil was the fact that I cared more about the Punisher stuff than the Elektra stuff. It's not that the Elektra stuff was
that's not a flaw.
bad.
It just means Frank Castle is that badass.
That's what I mean. It just, the strength of the Castle storyline made me want to get back to that so much.
That was technically Punisher season 1.0 or 0.0.1.
So
if the Punisher show is bad,
Punisher show is not going to be bad.
If the Punisher show
it's not going to be bad.
If
it's not. It's going to be the best thing of all time.
If the Punisher show is bad, I think I'm out. Because...
Well, you be fucking out then.
Because
you should stop watching your CW shit,
I'll come back for Jessica Jones season 2, and that's it. Because at this point, they're batting under 50. They're batting under 500.
No, they're... Oh.
So...
Bro, it's crazy that you're all about all your CW shows, and you're going to be out if Punisher is bad. Netflix has been so good to comics fans, and you've just had, singing episodes of your teenager show, and it's like, oh, I'm in this all the way. And actually, I actually love musicals. It's probably great, but you're watching a bunch of teenagers with abs bearing singing along with each other, and you're like, no, if Punisher is poorly written,
I expect different things from these shows.
So,
continue, Charlie.
For me, if you didn't have the Punisher story arc in Daredevil season 2, I would have enjoyed the Elektra story arc more. And I just know that. I know that because of the narrative element of the season, it affected my enjoyment of the Elektra storyline. Doesn't mean it was bad. I just was that much more invested in the Punisher stuff. Daredevil season 1, I enjoyed. I don't remember it dragging on really when I was watching it at all.
Teeny bit.
Jessica Jones, again, rose-colored glasses a little bit. It's been a long time since I watched it, but I remember that being phenomenal. I loved it. Luke Cage, I sat down and I watched, and I went, this is good, but it was not made for me. Like, I could just flat out tell that it was a well-done, good show, but I was not the audience that was going to engage in this show as much as other audiences. Iron Fist is where I kind of went, no, there's a lot of this that they just got absolutely wrong.
Yep.
Defenders, I really, really felt that when you kind of look at Defenders, the Iron Fist stuff got much better. Like, I'm not saying it's perfect yet.
I actually think the character got better and the fighting got better.
Yeah.
Both got better.
Yeah. So I'm much more interested to see where they take Iron Fist from here. I do agree with you that if it was like Heroes for Hire, I'd be much more invested in a...
Yeah.
I so wish it was Heroes for Hire and not more Luke Cage. Or
Defenders... The reason why I was asking about the rate people are watching it, because I basically binge-watched half and then binge-watched the other half, practically. And to me, I don't remember feeling like... There were lulls I could tell, but I always got to good content immediately after. Like, I agree, the fight between Daredevil and Iron Fist was amazing.
Yes.
Now, mind you, there's a part of me screaming in my head just because I kind of think from a narrative comic-wise, Iron Fist should have won that fight.
But does a 3-minute fight save a 50-minute TV show?
But dude, I'm halfway through the episode. It wasn't the only good scene from that episode. It was the most awesome scene so far in the episode. But like, that is already better than any other episode on your average TV show.
And for me, I actually really like narratively. So you always kind of have this problem, especially when you start looking at stuff like the Hulk on the Avengers. There's always this part of you that's just like, they're having to really force it for the Hulk to be on the Avengers. That just doesn't really make sense.
That's a great point.
They handled that kind of stuff really, really well in Defenders. Jessica Jones said, fuck this. This is way over everything else. And
yeah.
That was completely and totally in character. And the way she comes back was completely and totally in character.
Exactly. It was so well done.
And that's why the stuff that sort of like happened in episodes 4, 5, like... It was about getting them all invested to actually sort of kick it home. Like, yes, if there was a little more time constraint on it, I could see them cutting out an episode and it being stronger. But honestly, the stuff I would have cut out is a lot of the stuff with the supporting characters in the police station.
Oh, yeah, that just never ends.
Not with the main characters.
Well,
so that just happened for me. Does that drag on the next?
It happens the entire show. Episodes? They have to continuously.
It just happened. It's episode 6.5.
They have to continuously re-explain the plot to every character. They have to continuously re-explain the plot to every character on the show every time they meet it. Every time they go back to another character.
Bro, I'm happy.
Not as bad as you say it is. It does happen, but it's not as extreme as you say it is.
I mean, it's 8 episodes. I'm halfway through season 6, and they just all got to the police station. I don't know what you're talking about.
If you cut out, because they've had all those supporting characters prior to that. If you cut out the entire supporting cast, you could have had it done in 5 episodes, and I think it would have been much better. I feel that's the problem.
But dude, even Netflix, no fat on the bone, as you seem to like to say. Like,
or they're not going to do a
5-episode series. Like, other than Sherlock, what shows are 5 episodes seasons?
If they did 8 episodes where every episode, one each episode was about taking down one of the fingers of the hand, and then you have an Elektra episode, and then you kind of have like the wrap up. I mean, the one intro and the one kind of wrap up. I could see that, but they don't do a lot in those episodes like 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, but I like the little scenes to set up the bigger things.
Dude, you are crazy.
Like my
But
favorite,
that's not where this is supposed to be. This is
my favorite scene in the whole show, and maybe it got cut out of the episode I was on, is the Daredevil Jessica Jones scene when they go back to see the daughter whose dad died.
Yeah.
And Jessica reveals the whole backstory of Matt Murdock without him ever telling her. That's like one of the most beautiful fucking scenes in the whole show. I love that shit.
Sure. Okay. There are some decent scenes in the whole show.
Decent scenes. These are the scenes that make the show for me.
Okay.
I reject the fact that we have to fucking defend the shit from your. From,
You have to defend the defenders.
Look,
You walked into that.
You walked into that.
I mean, like if we have
having
anything,
to defend the shit from your review because your review is just wrong. Like it's been a
I don't.
fucking
But here's
great
the thing.
show so far.
I don't hate it. I think there's.
you sure sound like you hate it.
You sound like me, like talking about a DC thing though. You have nothing negative to say, but you have nothing but negative things to say about it. There you go. I found
The
guy.
first episode was a lot of setup. That's fine. Episode 2 and 3 were great. Episode 8 was good because I thought it was an action-packed episode. It completes the plot. It wraps everything up.
Now, if this-
I was bored by the middle, but that
if
that's
Defenders
my problem.
was like fucking Justice, and Nova, fucking Namorita, this would have been your favorite fucking show of all time.
yeah, no,
Yeah. You know it's
it
true.
would have been this show. Like it would have been something else. Again, it's not that it's bad or awful. I expect something more from these shows, I guess, and I guess I shouldn't at this point because, again, most of them have not been.
I have
what I
long
want.
said that there's just a tad bit too much dialogue in these shows.
No, holy effing S. You guys are so crazy. Like, we were complaining about how Iron Fist, I was complaining about Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage were just too long. They were, 11 episodes, I believe?
13?
13? Holy smoke. So we're like, OMG. If only these could have been like 8 episodes, they'd be perfect.
But that's the thing.
And then we are delivered a team story. Not even like a single character, but a team story in 8 episodes.
I thought it
where
would have
you
been a
get
little tighter.
like all 4 of them and all of their supporting cast. Like Foggy's in it, Elektra's in it,
Yeah.
fucking like
And
the
that's-
Night Nurse is in it. Like everybody's in it, and it's only 8 episodes, and you're still fucking complaining. It's crazy. This show has been awesome so far.
I actually thought it was going to be a little
Like
tighter too.
this is
That's
crazy.
the problem. It should have, right? It should have.
It should have what? It should have been
it's-
awesome. It is awesome. Your
thing is-
synopsis is your review is just wrong.
Defenders would have been the first 6 episodes of any of these other shows. It would have had a longer plot. It's like one half of the other shows.
Can we talk about the real downfall of the show? Like, have you gotten part?
No, there's no downfall to this show.
I feel like they wasted Sigourney Weaver a little bit.
I mean,
You don't think so? What does she do in the show?
No, well, what do any of them do in the show? She brings back Elektra, but that's it, really, right?
Yeah, and
Well, the Hand, for being this like super crazy, uber powerful thing, they build a building.
and a hole.
They kind of hit a hole. They kind of stand around a
already
lot.
knew they built a hole.
No, but they're all like martial arts masters. That,
And they get the bones of a dragon.
Yeah, exactly.
what?
They're martial arts masters who stand in a room and talk and
Because they want a bone
Talk
of a
some more
dragon,
and-
which they get to,
Yeah.
so they can live forever.
No.
Yeah, except they all die
all
before
have
that.
their own scenes where they are fucking kicking ass individually,
Okay, well-
and they are punking the defenders, and it's awesome.
For us, cool,
they all get their 5 minutes
for
in,
us
in
cool
an 8 hour.
Sigourney Weaver
We have
should
not-
have been. I feel like they wasted her character. I feel
But dude,
like.
you just can't have Sigourney Weaver fucking like doing backflips and kicking ass.
No, I just feel like they wasted her. I felt like
In
they
what
could've-
capacity?
They could have done so much more of her than having
in what capacity?
Here's how you extend this show out more.
that she comes back.
They should have had a flashback episode that shows like her whole story.
That would have been fucking awesome.
Creating the Hand.
Go through the time, signing all those deeds over to
Right.
herself.
Yep,
Right.
I agree with that.
That would've
Okay,
been fucking
I'll give-
badass.
I'll give you that. I agree with that.
Take out
That would've been
episode
awesome.
6 or whatever and throw this in
That
there
would've been
instead.
fucking
Yeah,
badass.
because I feel like we're told,
Episode 6 has been awesome so
but
far.
they don't
You're wrong.
like. It's like, okay, these people run everything, but they have just like this one building and they're doing this one thing, and like this isn't the Hand from the comics.
I don't know if you got to the part about
dude, I
Alluto.
totally disagree with that. I think this is way more effectual than the comics Hand has been. Like, what has the comics Hand ever done but be like minion fodder for Captain America or Deadpool comics? Like,
What?
the Hand has done fucking nothing, and I didn't read.
Did you read the Frank Miller shit?
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. And
I mean, they like controlled in New York. They the Hand in this show.
The Shadow. What was that Daredevil? That terrible Daredevil thing.
Ignore that one.
Shadowland.
Shadowland. No, the Hand in this don't do a hell of a lot.
They could have done a lot more.
Yeah.
I will grant you they should have.
I mean, did you get to the part of Elektra and Signori Weaver? Is what I'm trying to get at.
That's the end of 6.
The end of 6.
Oh, so he didn't get to it yet.
Wait, Elektra and who?
Signori Weaver.
I love you so much. As a man, loving another man.
Rip your balls off one of these days and shove it back.
I just want to let you know that I love you like
whatever.
Another
Fuck
man
off.
could love another man.
Fuck. No, you already got Ryan. You can't say that to me. Bullshit. I call bullshit.
I do love Ryan as well.
Yeah.
But my love for you is different. It's sort of like Sigourney Weaver's love for
But no, you know what I'm talking about. You both know what I'm talking about, though. I feel like it was a very wasted.
Well, you can say. I mean, she kills her, right? She kills
don't
Weaver.
fucking
It's fine.
spoil it for him.
That's pretty brutal.
Spoiler level fucking 5, bitch.
You definitely could have gotten through this without saying that explicitly.
No, you're talking about this whole thing.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, but
No, it's fine. It's
get
fine.
to it yet.
It's fine.
He said
It's fine.
he
But you
didn't
could have
care.
gotten by without it. It's fine. It's fine. You definitely didn't need it. All right.
It's no big deal. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I care because it could have been a bigger deal.
No. I'm saying nobody cares that because when it happens in the show, you're like, all right. I guess.
also feel like they could have done
That's what I'm saying.
more justice at the end of the show too, because I felt like they kind of wasted both of those characters at the end of it.
And again, let's go to this because when Elektra kills her, that should be a big moment.
Yes,
it's
but
just
it didn't
sort
feel
of
like
like
and it didn't feel like a shocking moment either for some reason.
Right. That's
a problem for me.
Exactly. That's why.
Hence why I kept saying I feel like they wasted those characters.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and I think they should shelve Elektra for a while now.
Yes, please, God, yes.
Even though I fucking I don't dislike the story like you do, but I think they should shelve it for a little bit.
Please, God, yes. Tell me how season 17 of Arrow is going.
Oh, dude, season 5 was great. All new characters, whole new cast, new villains. It was really good.
Was it the fucking Arrowmobile with the Arrow Squad?
It was the second best season.
You know, I wish it was the Arrowmobile.
There's no way that it was better than seasons 1 or 2.
It was better than 1. Yeah.
No.
Two's the best. But
That's okay. I want the Arrowmobile.
No.
I just do.
Go fuck yourselves.
Okay, so...
No, if there's an Arrowmobile, there might be a fart joke in it.
Okay, so what is the purpose of killing Daredevil?
He's not dead.
What? Exactly. What's the purpose of killing Daredevil to then immediately show that he's not dead? This is just like
I like to set up the epilogue was like one of my most favorite things.
Shit.
This is spoiler level 6.
Are you even using this argument when fucking Hope Man died in BVS? You are about to throw shade on this when like the more egregious example was in that piece of shit movie, and you defend that?
You know Daredevil got saved by Elektra, right?
I didn't know that Daredevil
she's
died.
not dead either.
And that is a spoiler that I, frankly, watching it, I would probably see it coming. At least I like to think. But
why kill him and then immediately show that he's back? I mean, okay,
because they're now season 3, bitch.
Hold on.
Have you seen BVS?
Shut up. Yes, I saw BVS. Does Superman come back at the very end of the movie?
Yes, kind of.
Fucking
it's
basically
Jurassic Park.
The dirt,
Jurassic Park.
The dirt fucking vibrates. And
unless that's not fucking Superman coming back.
And he's in the very next movie. Like,
do we see Superman alive at the end of BVS?
No.
Okay.
They sure allude to it, though. Jurassic Park.
That's the difference. That's the difference.
It's like, he died 2 seconds later. Oh, no, he didn't. It's like, what was the point of killing him if you're just going to immediately show that he didn't die?
Well, that was fucking why I disliked that scene, too, with Superman.
Oh. No, the Superman one was nothing, because you're like, what is this? We don't know. What if it's Darkseid teleporting him away to experiment on him to make him the black costume Superman? He's going to be the villain of Justice League.
Jesus Christ.
That's probably more
fucking serious.
That's probably more likely than him just popping out. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You don't like that he's back with his mom and Elektra probably put him there and maybe she gave up her life to save him?
I mean, it's Born Again, right? I mean, that's what they're going for season 3.
We love that.
But why don't they just make that season 3 and bring him back at the end of the first episode of season 3? Why kill him to immediately show that he's not dead? It's so weird.
So, dude, I haven't seen this shit, so I can't comment about how they filmed that episode. But this fucking reeks of killing Superman to bring him back in the very next movie. Like,
but the next movie isn't the same movie.
So I guess that's the difference for you.
Yeah, it is.
Should it have been after the credits?
It's not just as
Should it have been
ridiculous.
after the credits for you? Should it have been like you shut
At
it off?
least after the credits. Like, okay, look, when in the Flash TV show, when Barry Allen runs into the Speed Force, and they're like, "Oh my God, he's dead." It's like, well, fucking, of course he's not dead. He's going to be back next season. But they at least give you like an episode for him.
Well,
to
they
want to
make sure people don't cancel the Netflix subscriptions.
Bring it back in the next season, then. Like, why? Like,
You're saying people would cancel their subscriptions?
Fuck off.
anyway.
I kind of like the epilogue a lot. Maybe even more so than the show itself.
Just him coming back?
No, I fucking love all the epilogue. The Luke Cage going into the bar with Jessica Jones. All the epilogue stuff.
Is he
That's
gonna?
spoiler level 3.
Is he gonna break up with Night Nurse and hook
Who
up with
knows?
Jessica Jones?
Because he is supposed to have a little baby with the other one.
Yeah. I've been waiting for that to
Spoiler.
happen.
No, I don't really want that. I want
didn't-
him to stay with Night Nurse. I kind of want Jessica to hook up with Matt, really. I already said that. I mean, it's kind of like Cyclops and Emma Frost. It's
What
like
about Karen?
Fuck, Karen is fucking Punisher.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Get it, girl.
Yeah. She's already in the show, too.
Love that.
Man, I am so excited for Punisher.
She might not be fucking him, but she's in the show.
You're just excited to complain about
so
it.
horrible. No.
The date yet?
The only problem I have with Punisher so far, it looks like he's wearing like a bikini top.
What
Did
the
you-
fuck are you talking about?
Did you see this picture?
What?
I've not.
Charlie, you seen this picture of him?
You obviously know what he's talking about.
I can kind of see where he's going with that, but that's not what I thought of when I saw
the
it.
Punisher skull, like the eyes look like a weird like bikini top on him. It's weird. It doesn't
Leanne
look
Higgins
quite
is just
right.
really repressed and needs to see a girl in a bikini. So
doesn't look
I'm
quite
actually
right.
just too busy going, am I ever going to be able to see that picture the same?
Yeah, no, it's a weird picture. Like
I haven't seen that picture, and I
So again,
will not.
have
Hopefully,
they given us
ever
the
see that
release date
picture.
yet?
It's 2017.
yeah, it's soon. It's this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
They
it's like
announced the year. They didn't announce the date.
because the teaser had that all
Yeah,
scrambled.
they did it on purpose.
Yeah, so it'll be like November or
There's
something.
little
right?
clues supposedly all over the internets, but nobody figured it out.
I think it'll
yet.
be November. I think it'll be
I
soon.
mean, they
We'll get
released
everything.
Did
like
you
the
see that-
episode titles.
Yeah, but you know how they did it, right?
Yeah,
By
the Morse
Morse code.
code.
I
Yeah.
thought that was fucking great.
Wait,
I
that's
see that.
awesome! Really?
Yeah.
Wait, from like how on Facebook or Twitter? Or
Twitter,
something?
yeah, they did all the Morse code thing, and people are putting everything together.
Dude,
It's
that's
like, hey,
so cool.
There's 13 things. Oh, wait, there's 13 episodes.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. I didn't know that.
No, I mean, again, Punisher is by far the best part of any of the Netflix shows. I'm super excited
I
for it.
agree on that.
I have real high hopes.
No,
Are
I
you talking
agree
about?
on
Dude,
that.
Daredevil season 1 was
Should I-
incredible.
Should I tell Bryce my ranking
No,
for the Marvel?
Oh, I hate your
Netflix
ranking.
show?
I hate your
No.
ranking.
No.
I
Ve-
fucking despise your
Veto.
ranking.
Let's
But
move
you
on.
could go ahead and tell your
Wait,
ranking.
wait.
No,
Let
no,
me
no,
guess.
no,
Let me
no.
guess.
No, you go ahead. Do
Let me
your
guess
ranking.
your top 3. Jessica Jones far and above number 1.
Well, no, I'm going to tell you the ranking that he hates.
I fucking hate that. That doesn't even, you can't do that. That's out of the rules. You're breaking all the rules.
said he could.
No, he's breaking all the rules with that.
what is even happening
He has two.
right
He
now?
has two lists. He has.
Okay,
two
I have a
lists.
regular list, and then I have my list.
Yeah,
Okay.
his list. He broke all the fucking rules.
Wait. Which spoiler level is this though?
No.
There's no
Okay.
spoiler level.
Here's my broken
I'm
list.
sort of disappointed.
Best, number 1.
Wait, which list is this?
This is the broken list. Number 1, the Punisher stuff of Daredevil season 2. Number 1. Okay. Number 2, Jessica Jones. Number 3, Daredevil season 1.
Okay.
Number 4, I think 4 would be Luke Cage, the first 6 episodes. 5 would be Defenders. 6 would be the remainder of Daredevil season 2. 7 would be the back half of Luke Cage, and 8 would be Iron Fist because I never finished it.
Yeah, I like this omnibus, but only like 2/3 of it,
Yeah.
and then that goes ahead of the other book.
But if you want to break it down the other ways, Jessica Jones,
I like
Daredevil,
Sandman Volumes 3 and a
Daredevil
half
season 1,
over like Sandman Volume 0.5.
Jessica Jones, Daredevil season 1, Daredevil season 2, Defenders, Luke Cage, Iron Fist.
No, that's the wrong list. The right list is Daredevil season 1, then Defenders, then Daredevil season 2, then it's fucking up for grabs because the
I
rest
have
of
a
it is
different
garbage.
list altogether. I got Daredevil Season 2, Luke Cage, Daredevil Season 1,
You
Defenders.
have Luke Cage is number 2.
Absolutely, I love that show.
Holy shit.
Jessica is
As
number
I
4.
said, Luke Cage is a good
Iron
show,
Man.
but not for me.
I mean, not
Iron Man.
Iron Fist at the very end.
Iron Fist should be at the very end.
Yeah,
for
that was
everybody.
pretty bad.
I mean, I just didn't finish it, so I can't it's an incomplete for me. Like,
I love to complain about you, and I do not complain about
Unless
this.
you have a hot thing for Colleen Wig, you're not finishing that show.
oh, Leanne pointed out a really funny point in this show. In Defenders, Colleen and Night Nurse are talking, and she's like, "Well, since we're friends," and we're like, "Well, the fuck are you guys friends? Are you guys friends in Iron Fist?"
Yeah.
She trains.
What the
Colleen
fuck?
Wing.
Were they
Colleen,
friends?
Wait a minute.
She's-
Were you and
she's-
fucking Leanne
she's-
throwing shade at the show because that's a ridiculous comment for them to make? Because it actually happens if
starts
you watch
as
the show.
the trainer for Rosario Dawson, the Night Nurse.
Were they friends?
Well, as the show goes on, they become friends.
Okay, I watched 6 episodes of Iron Fist, and she wasn't in that.
Well,
show,
you can
so.
fucking watch
So
6
you-
more episodes,
Yeah.
bitch.
And then you still have one left over. So you watched less than half of it, and they weren't friends, and you're throwing shade at the show with
Yeah,
Leanne?
that's weird.
No, she's in there a lot towards
What
the
the
end.
Okay.
frick?
No, fucking frowny face, okay? She's seriously in there a lot towards the end of the show. They go to fucking China together.
We have a question.
No,
we
they
have a
all
question.
go to China.
We have a question.
There's even a reference in Defenders for it.
We have a
She goes
question
like,
for the
"Oh, yeah,
podcast
this is what I
from-
went to China for."
We have a question for the podcast from Bryce Larson. He says, "Can Iron Fist summon the fist in his left hand or just his right?"
I just found it funny that every time we've ever seen him, like we saw him summon the Iron Fist, I believe that it was like twice in his own TV show, which was fucking ridiculous.
I like that he has to charge it up. He's like, there's my glowing
But
fist.
it's always his right fist, and I'm trying to think in the comics, it's always his right fist, and I'm wondering, honestly, if you guys think that he can summon it in his left fist, because I've never seen him do it. Does that mean he can't, or that he just chooses not to?
I find it
Because-
weird, too,
Oh,
that-
by the way,
maybe one hand is not pure.
I find it weird in
could
the
be,
show that
but-
sometimes he's like one punch and then he's out, and then other times he's like, I have this thing for like 10 minutes and I'm using it as a lantern, and like just I don't know. It's weird. Like there's no consistency with how he uses it.
When was he using it as a fucking lantern?
A couple times he like lit his face up when he's over in New York, and he's running around. Why were they not killing these normal humans in that last episode?
What normal humans?
One punch from Iron Fist should explode these people. He has the Iron Fist and he's punching the
Stop
hand
looking
people.
at me. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. And Jessica
normal?
Jones and Luke Cage are like throwing them like a football field,
Yeah,
and they're
that's
just like,
pretty
yeah, we just get up and run away.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. What's it called? Fuck. The word I can't remember.
At least it's implied that those people died when they fell down the
No,
shaft.
they're on like fucking, they're on
Steroids or something?
steroids and shit. They don't
on
feel
PCP?
it. Yeah, they don't fucking feel it.
I guess.
That's always
They're all
explained.
brought back from the dead, and
Yeah, they can't feel shit.
All right, we got like.
Wait, so you didn't answer my question, actually.
I have no idea. I
Ask Scott
assume
Well-
it's just the one hand. I never see him use the left hand, but maybe he
But
does.
dude, how
Well, I mean-
fucking badass is Stick cutting off his own hand to his
Oh, Stick is
Dude,
so awesome.
that was so sick.
Do you think Stone is going to show up in the next show? I hope Stone shows up. Now that Stick
No,
is gone.
no,
so
that's too nerdy.
the only thing I
not
remember
too
in terms
They'll
of the
have Stick
Iron
come
Fist
back.
mythology is different Iron Fists could manifest it differently.
Okay,
So it's possible that Danny Rand can only manifest it in that one hand, but other Iron Fists might
there an
manifest it in
Iron
the
foot?
foot.
I was
or-
going to say,
The
how
guy
many
that,
differently timed Iron Fist? That's kind of you're out of fists.
Well, no, but
Iron
when
foot.
they dealt with some of like the people in the past, I think they even. Damn it! I need to go back and read that. But
The
they're-
immortal,
they're-
the
Yeah.
what was that mini?
Brubaker?
yeah,
The Immortal
What was it
Iron
called?
Fist?
Well,
the
no, that
last
was-
Iron Fist.
No, that was
Yeah,
the
Brubaker.
Immortal Weapons. Was that where they talk about
Yeah.
it?
Oh,
Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, we have 1.5 billion questions. Let's burn through a few of these real quick. Marco says, thoughts on who's apparently returning at the end of Marvel Legacy #1. That's the big Marvel one-shot coming out in
Darkhawk, right?
7 weeks, I think. Everyone thinks FF. I'm going to go Dark Horse. I'm going to not like Dark Horse Comics.
Dark Horse?
I'm going to say Phoenix. I'm going to say it's Jean Grey. I'm
way.
thinking it's Jean Grey.
no way.
I'm
No,
going
like
with
OG
Darkhawk
like
all the
OG
way,
Green
man.
Grey.
That's why they bring that one last issue back. It's totally Darkhawk.
No. So they're. Gonna,
it is more than likely the Fantastic Four, but I'm gonna go Phoenix. I'm gonna.
You just
Wolverine.
you just like being wrong, like your
No.
opinions on TV shows. I'm gonna
Say
say
Milk Wolverine coming back.
I agree with that. I'm saying
How do you milk Wolverine?
very carefully. I'm saying Iron Man, Thor, and Cap, regular Cap. Although regular Cap
Cap's
is
already back.
but
Well, no,
back with his shield, which is not the case.
I mean, it won't be Iron Man and Thor because the whole arc in Thor is the death of Thor. That's the legacy arc in Thor, and Iron Man is the search for Tony Stark. So
wait, the search? I thought he was in a coma on a hospital bed. Fucking Marvel, Higgins, you're so angry.
I'm not angry. No,
well, disappointed, annoyed.
I'm
disdainful.
There's been a lot of Phoenix stuff recently. A lot of Phoenix.
Yeah, there has.
I'm gonna go Phoenix. I'm gonna go Jean Grey. Jean Grey is who returns at the very end.
Do we have any indication or hint that it's like there's going to be one major reveal or
they said
comeback?
Like the last page will send shocks through the comic industry as a classic Marvel character returns.
Was it the same marketing person that said the Secret Empire was going to be incredible?
I don't think it'll be Professor X.
He's kind of already back in Astonishing.
It would,
what?
you know, it would make sense if it was Phoenix because that could also give them a way to bring back other characters.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking.
Cool.
I'm kind of thinking it's Phoenix.
All right, I still go with Darkhawk. He can bring other characters back too.
I can't believe that
Like
shitbag
Slider
Chris Sims
and-
is going to be writing a Darkhawk series. Oh my god!
Wait, what?
Yeah, we're getting a new Darkhawk series.
What?
The one shot.
One shot.
No, didn't they say it's going to be a series after
One
that?
shot. It's one last
it is a
issue.
one shot, but I'm pretty
One
sure.
last shot, easy.
I'm pretty sure-
one last shot issue.
I
Not
think some
easy.
of those guys are coming back though.
Is it going to be one of those like now Darkhawk is part of the basically Galaxy series, or is it like Earthbound Darkhawk?
It's written by the guy that wrote
No, it's
X-Men
the original
92.
series. Oh, that's not good. Why'd you say that?
You're
Why'd
just
you
saying
say that?
like
Why'd you
troll
say
me.
that?
That's not
Why'd you
fucking
say that?
worse.
Why'd you
No,
say
you're
that?
lying.
I
You're
was
lying.
excited up
Because
to
Chris
this
Sims
point.
is the worst.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Because I was seriously excited up to this point.
I know. No, I was like, well, so much for that.
No,
Yep.
last week you were trolling me saying Al Ewing was the worst. which means
I never said Al Ewing
your
was the worst.
opinion is actually the worst. You didn't like Al Ewing last week.
Have never cared for Al Ewing. I understand that he's very popular and people like him. I just have personally not cared for him. Chris Sims is the worst. Okay.
What about John Boy Myers? I thought he was the worst.
Huh?
about
John Myers is
Siberia?
great.
Okay, confirmed. Cy Spear is actually the worst. Okay, there's no two ways about that. We're actually arguing about who's the second worst.
Okay. Cisco says, any predictions as to what will happen during Doomsday Clock, DC's big year-long
we will see
comic.
a blue penis.
I hope the last issue is a conversation between Superman and Manhattan that ends with John's completely merging pre- and post-Flashpoint continuity. All stories have happened and everyone remembers both timelines. You know, I don't know that they're going to go like Crisis-ish with this. I mean, they could, but I mean, I think like, we're already kind of in that with Rebirth. Like, they've already merged so much of it. I think they're okay. I don't think they need to do more. They fixed pretty much everything that needs to be fixed, I think, in DC. And there's maybe a couple outliers, but I know they said the beginning of Doomsday Clock will be 1 year in the future, so when the book ends, it will be current with every published comic showing all the changes. So I expect the first issue is going to open up with the Legion and JSA, and I'm just going to be like, yes! And then we'll get them returned through the year.
Cisco, here's a theory
But I have
that
no idea.
might come to pass, is that over the course of the year, despite all of Higgins' complaints, Marvel will outsell DC.
That's possible.
And yet Doomsday Clock will still be higher on the sales charts than anything Marvel puts out.
Yeah, I don't know why you're laughing.
Well, like I
That's
said, I think there's a really good
in
chance-
spite of that, like Marvel will still outsell DC. I don't know how that's funny.
No, there's a really good chance Legacy will be the best-selling comic of the year. Pretty, I would say, all but guaranteed.
Should I start cackling or chortling?
No, I really think
no?
Legacy will be the highest-selling comic of the year. I think October will be humongous for Marvel. And November
Because of lenticulars?
Yeah, and November and December should be really big too. There's not as many titles, but they should be big. It's just a question of what does the second, third, fourth issues of all those series do.
It'll be like that January, February we had after Secret War.
Was that was like the tail end of the...
That was the tail end of Secret
Or-
Wars.
No, was that when it started?
No, that was when it was ended.
No, because it ended after Iron Man came out, and Iron Man came out in like August or September. So that would have been like when it started, or it started like December, January. But yeah, those were huge months for Marvel.
But the months following it were...
Well, I mean, they kind of had the staggered launch, so they had good sales, but the numbers drop pretty quick, and that'll be. I'll be curious to see. But yeah, I know Marvel should have a really good October, November, December.
No,
and so will DC.
It was Secret Wars, because remember all the delays? Like, they had the new books out before that stuff ended.
But that was Iron Man, in August or September. That it was supposed to start in September, and Secret Wars ended after that. I think Secret Wars started in November or December. It started late, if I remember correctly. Dan says, going to Baltimore Comic Con this month. What's the limit on the number of comics you'll take to a writer artist at a con to get signed?
Do not ask our good friend Lane what the limit is.
So here is...
Wait, why?
He used to bring quite a bunch.
This is usually how these things go. If they are for yourself, and they are personalized, and you have read them, and you strike up a conversation with the artist or the writer, they will generally sign whatever you bring them. If you are flipping them on eBay and the guy from CGC is there, they will limit you and charge you. It seems like every artist is.
Luckily, Lane is actually a fan and has read them and will strike up a conversation. And he plows down 30 books.
Oh yeah. No. People have said if you bring a short box, I'll sign them. You can leave them with me, but I'll sign them. But if they're for eBay, fuck off. I mean, that's.
But no. For Lane, actually, they're for himself.
Oh yeah,
I'll be honest about it. He's not. But I was like, man, can you just pick your favorites and get those signed? But no, he gets. He goes, I got that run entirely signed. I'm like, that's awesome.
Oh, so he doesn't get a grip of them side of the same issue.
No. He goes full runs. He goes, I love this book, and he brings the entire run.
But when I get stuff signed, I rarely get single issue comics signed. I almost always get graphic novels signed, in which case I'll usually bring one or two.
Yeah.
And that's I'm not a fan of bringing a short box.
Yeah.
But the single issues you get to put on the wall is kind of neat too.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I do get them signed
some
sometimes.
of the cooler covers or whatever. Yeah.
When possible, I also like to buy the books from the person that they're signing and that kind of stuff.
And always personalized because they know you're not going to try to flip them.
Yep.
Problematic cartoon.
With guys like Jim Lee, you can't do it without getting a personalized.
Right.
Jim will what's your name?
Right.
And the guy goes, oh no, I just want it signed. He goes, no, what's your name? Or I'm not doing it.
Right. Problematic Cartoon says, not a question, but a comment. Batman and Harley Quinn sucks. The world doesn't need Batman fart jokes. What the fuck, Bruce Timm? Yeah, well, we talked about that for a while. Let's see. Stephen Hayden, thank you. He's going to be in town for a conference next week. He says, what's the best book nobody is reading? I mean, the problem...
Well, how would we know?
Well,
if we're not reading it.
Well, what's the best book that you're reading and no one else is reading? The problem with me right now is I am horribly far behind on every independent comic I read. I'm struggling to keep up with the Marvel and DC stuff, and the indie stuff falls to the wayside because I read them in trade at this point. So, I mean, I think my answer for last year based on the sales charts would be Flintstones, no question. That sold horribly and just easily one of the best books of the year. But yeah, God, there's so many good indie books that I'm just way far behind on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I normally go back to Manifest Destiny, Birthright. They're really, really good books.
Yeah,
they need some nice hardcovers. Yeah, but they refuse to put out nice hardcovers.
Yep. But I mean. Yeah, I think Flintstones is the best example.
I think of last year. Yeah, it's over now, but
yeah.
Charlie, anything you're reading that you think more people should be reading?
Part of the problem is I don't know the sales charts well enough to say, but I mean, Bryce talked at length about the Ultimates, and I've loved that book for multiple series now.
Still my answer.
Yeah. Well, I think if you want to talk the Marvel stuff, the Al Ewing stuff probably should be read by more people. Although, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan. His books are generally very poor sellers, and people rave about him, but nothing he writes moves units. So,
and they all Ultimates just has a very unique voice compared to any of the other books that's published. And
what else is
it always feels more influential than you would expect that book to be.
Yeah, that I agree with. What else is he writing?
US Avengers. I think he's still on that. Rocket. He did 2 or 3 other books before. What the hell was he writing? I'm blanking on him. Let's see. Grumble Bumble on Twitter says, this is a weird one, but it's actually not the first time I've heard this. He says, has there ever any backlash to Scott Snyder's Batman run? I love it, but a lot of my friends are down on his run. Not the first time I've heard this.
Which Batman run?
The 52.
New 52.
Because of the way it ends with the robot Batman that looks like a bunny rabbit?
No, I don't think it's that specifically.
Oh.
It's just
That's
Zero Year.
Zero Year, maybe a little bit of it, but it's just the fact
Isn't
that
Zero Year the Batman robot bunny rabbit?
No. Zero Year is what happened like
After the bunny rabbit?
in
Well,
the
no,
middle
it's
of run,
the early Batman facing the Riddler
and
the
it was like
Riddler,
a
No Man's
year,
Land,
It was a
Gotham,
year plus story.
basically.
yeah, something like that.
Like it really slowed down the pacing of the book.
Wow.
It was good, but
So, I guess you have Black Mirror that was amazing, and then he started Batman, and the whole Court of Owls first arc was great, followed up with a great Joker story, and then he kind of putters out this really long story that went on way too long. Then you get another good Joker story. Like, it just...
Again, some people just aren't going to like something. I have heard from plenty of people who didn't really care for Scott Snyder's Batman run when it was coming out. Some people thought it didn't end well. I mean, everyone's going to have their own opinion. I really like almost everything he's done. So,
Familiar. Cough Netflix Marvel shows.
but I have not. I have not done that. I like him, but
I think a book that a lot of people haven't read of his that was really good was Gates of Gotham.
Well, he only co-wrote that with
Was that co-written?
Yeah, he co-wrote that with
Gates?
who wrote that with him? I'm totally blanking.
Well, while you're thinking about it, can we talk about Tom King's The War of Jokes and Riddles? And have you guys found that to be very mediocre?
Hey, Brock, while we're talking about this real quick, can you grab me the most recent previews? Not the one we're ordering from, but the one I already did the order from, the October one, the August one.
Yeah.
It's for a question. Yes,
So-
you're wrong, Bryce. Thank you. Confirmed.
Wow. That was...
The War of
Dude,
Joker-
Kite Man. Kite Man better. Sorry, we didn't mention this the other week. Kite Man better than every Marvel character. Okay, we're just gonna lay it out on the right now.
What?
Kite Man better than every Marvel character. Confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, that's just obvious.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty obvious. Okay, other than your crazy lunacy and sarcasm and 100% wrongness, yeah, I've loved everything he's done with Batman, absolutely, but have been very meh on War of Jokes and Riddles. Are you guys the same, or do you guys love this?
Oh,
I know
love it.
Charlie loves it. Well,
I was just going to say,
before it.
for me, a lot of it depends on the wrap-up. Like,
July, sorry.
I don't consider every issue like the best issue I've read or anything like that, but I see the potential in it, but it all depends
where's
on
the
that
potential?
ending.
I would love to love more because I've loved everything but this story arc.
Now, because when I first read it, I had to be corrected a little bit on sort of the telling the story in the past, but considering this is supposed to be a story where Batman handles it wrong, and the fact that
Wait, what are you talking about?
he's telling the story to Catwoman.
Right.
Yeah, but this is not like a in continuity, current happening issue to issue. He's relaying a story to Catwoman.
Right.
So it's skipping over parts.
Yeah.
It's being
This isn't
broad at
necessarily a
moments.
story of how Batman saved the city or something. Like it sounds to me like based on the setup, it's more about confiding a secret about how badly things went during this war and
What Bruce had to do to...
Yeah.
Okay, so that already, I wish I'd known, because that is an awesome... Like, that makes a lot more sense.
How do you not like
Yeah.
Kite Man?
Dude, Kite Man is the biggest douchebag that if he was in Marvel, you and fucking your
If he was in
buddy
Marvel,
Higgins
he'd be in
would have been like,
if he-
like, oh my god, this is the
If
worst
he
thing
was
ever.
in
Oh, it's Marvel.
Marvel,
It's already the worst thing
If
ever.
he was in Marvel, he'd be in Superior Foes of Spider-Man, and he would be incredible.
Or he'd be an Ant-Man.
No, because well, in either of
And
those
I'd go for it.
capacities, Nick Spencer would be writing, and therefore it would be great. And then he would go and write Cap, and it'd be super political, and nobody gives a fuck.
The best part is sometimes when Bryce talks, I just imagine me as Kite Man in that GIF.
Hell yeah. So,
I'm sure that's hilarious.
question from Cab Comics.
Say nobody.
Says, do you order any books from the big two that no one subscribes to and there is little or no interest in? Yes, I will tell you those titles now. We talk about them occasionally on the podcast, but I'll give you that list. From DC,
Is
Blue Beetle.
Gamora still coming out?
Blue Beetle. What's that?
Is Gamora still coming out?
No. No, that was a 5-issue miniseries.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Or did you just stop ordering?
I mean,
That's why don't
I
have
stopped ordering in past issue 2 because we didn't sell a
it?
single
No
copy.
wonder. I knew I was missing issues.
It doesn't
Toby,
trade, but-
you're a diamond in the rough, Toby. You are a diamond in the rough.
Diamond in the rough. From DC, Blue Beetle and Cyborg, I sell almost no. I do not stock any shelf copies. I believe we sell 2 copies of off the shelf. For Marvel, let me grab a glass of water here. These are series that I consider absolute failures from our store's perspective. These are comics that we sell 0 to 3 copies of. Okay, basically subscription only, 0 shelf copies, and potentially 0 to 1 or 2 store copies for subscribers. Secret Warriors, Mighty Captain Marvel. Let me go through the list here. Spider-Gwen, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, Luke Cage, Sorcerer Supreme, America, Monsters Unleashed, Nick Fury, Gwenpool, Zombies Assemble, I Am Groot, the Guardians, the miniseries, Rocket, Iceman, and I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So those are books that I have no idea how they're still being published. All those books, a couple from DC and the 10 or so from Marvel. These are books that are, there are other books that we sell only 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 copies of, but whatever. There's like a couple off the shelf, a couple subscribers. These are books that I do not stock for the shelf. These are books that I sell only to a couple subscribers, and that's it. And those are the books.
Very interesting. I'm surprised.
And I sell 150 copies of Mr. Miracle. So, what do you do?
That counts or does not count the free ones that you gave away?
I mean,
that you paid for.
Everyone subscribe. I had like 3 people tell me, "Oh, I'll tell you if I want to keep getting them." Yeah.
Mr. Miracle's really good. I'm actually surprised that Gwenpool was 0, even for you. Like I know that you hate her.
I have 2 subscribers.
No, this is the like independent comic subscription level where they have to specifically tell him they want it.
There are many
and
more.
If they cancel, he gets pissed.
There are plenty of indie comics that I get way more copies than those. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like order wise, like there's stuff that you would never even stock on the shelf.
Oh yeah, these are permanently at 0 shelf copies. If
that was your list of 0 shelf copies.
Yeah, and 0 to 3 subscribers. Yeah.
The other ones like 5 and 6. Those are pretty much subscription only.
Well, some of those are like,
and
there might be one on the shelf.
Or they're ordered to sell out, but it's like I sell 2 or 3 off the shelf consistently. I sell 2 or 3 to subscribers consistently. Cool.
And just to sort of be clear, especially when it comes to Marvel and DC, these are all books he gave a try. Like he used to carry shelf copies of, and reached a point where there was no point,
except for the Marvel Zombies manga thing. But that's just a current miniseries. Yeah, and no, I carried 1 and 2 of the Telltale, and I didn't sell either. So.
Or Monsters Unleashed.
I carried the ongoing. I carried the mini,
but not the ongoing.
Barely sold any. Nobody subscribed to it, so I did not put any of them down for the ongoing, and nobody's ever asked me for a copy of it.
But Ryan's always willing to give a series a try before he cuts it down to 0.
Sure.
That's true. Just so that I can sleep tonight. In 2016 calendar year, did Marvel or DC make you more money?
2016 for
2016 calendar year.
For
I'm
us.
not sure how much more specific I could have been.
For us. DC.
That's what I said.
DC. Okay. I ran my numbers DC versus Marvel for 2017 up to September 1st. DC's up 60% in sales over Marvel.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Would you think Legacy will fill that gap?
Hopefully.
So,
in 2015, Marvel outsold DC.
So much for sleeping tonight, then.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ryan.
2016
Thanks a lot, Ryan.
2015 was Star Wars.
2015 was Star Wars. 2016 was Rebirth. So DC had the bump at the end. Marvel again could have the bump at the end of. I mean, they're not going to catch up to DC because we have Metal, we have Doomsday Clock. Like it's not going to happen. But Marvel could have a really good October, November, December here at the store. They're not going to catch up to DC, but it could be close. They could bridge that gap a little bit. But DC is crushing Marvel here. Like. Not even funny. Like, way worse than they used to be. When I used to say we sold more DC than Marvel, it was like 10%, 15%. And again, this is why I think You've seen multiple comic stores close recently, and they've all said Marvel is their major blame for the major reason for closing because of their lack of sales. For us, it's been like, well, we lost Marvel sales, but at least I still have DC. It's like, it's still the majority of our sales.
Thank God for DC.
I know, thank God.
Oh, man.
All right, here's one for all of us. Toby, I'm think is going to have a nice long list for this. This is from Brandon. He says, what's a comic book series or major event that you think the fellow casters would be surprised to hear that you've never read? What's that one book that, man, how the hell have you never read this?
Oh, my God. That's such a long list for Toby.
I was going to say, it seems like it's probably a long list.
It is?
I'm not even sure that Toby knows a fraction of the books that he should list on this list.
What is a book? This is for all of us, too, by the way. But what
We're
is...
supposed to pick this on each other?
No. Tell everyone. This is dirty secrets time, man. What's a book that you've never read that is like Comics 101 that
From Hell, because I started and there's just too many fucking words.
I've never read From Hell either.
The fucking Watchmen, too many words.
Watchmen was great, but it was too many words.
almost as many as the Marvel Netflix shows.
Sandman, too many words. But I'm watching those words, not reading them. That's it.
Those are big three. I actually.
What other ones?
I have purchased.
Oh, wait. A lot of fucking Jeff Johns ones, but I have purchased all of them. I will read them.
I've purchased one of my big holes in my comic reading, and that's Age of Apocalypse. I did not read a single piece of Age of Apocalypse.
Well,
but
now
I bought the omnibus.
It'll be
Are you reading
terrible.
it though? But it's so good. It was so good.
That is probably the only major Marvel event I've never read.
And you call yourself a comic shop owner?
There was a
even I've read Age of Apocalypse.
that was a time right when I was swinging more heavy into the indie and Vertigo stuff, and I wasn't quite back into the superhero stuff. And I read Marvel, but I was like out of the X-Men. Like I've read every stupid major event from Marvel, from Secret Wars to current, and everything from DC since Crisis to current. And that's like the one that I think, even I've read like Onslaught. That's like the one that I think I really missed. So,
oh my God,
that's like kind of the big hole in my reading.
That's a gaping hole.
Yeah,
you've got a giant hole. Higgins.
I've never read V for Vendetta.
V's good. From Hell, I would not consider. I've never read From Hell. I would not consider From Hell like an essential.
Yeah.
Alan Moore?
V's bigger.
That's true.
V's really good.
I actually read that one.
You like V Tupac? It's a lot of history stuff.
That was a lot of words too, but I like that one.
Every time I see it on the shelf, I'm like, I need to read that, and I just never pick it up.
I've never read Ronin. I don't know that I consider that maybe quite on the same.
That one.
Quite on the same level, but
Charlie's definitely the barometer. If Charlie's never read it, you're okay. I've never read Ronin, and I wouldn't know if I was okay or not, but Charlie hasn't read it, so I'm okay.
Well, this is a weird question because
I'll transcribe.
No one can hear you, Charlie.
because
this is a weird question.
Charlie says this is a weird question because
I've gone out of my way to read a lot of this stuff over the past couple of years.
he's gone out of his way to read a lot of this stuff over the last couple of years.
I would love a podcast of just Charlie talking in the
Have somebody
background.
like making foreign language noises, and then Toby says, "What?
Oh, I never read Usagi Jujimbo.
Jujimbo?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Usagi. What?
Usagi, what?
Jujimbo.
Oh, okay, got it.
That's his
Now I know
brother.
who you're talking about. I didn't understand you the first time, but now I understand you perfectly and clearly. So, Usagi Jojimbo, I want to read myself. What? Don't laugh at me.
I've heard really Usagi.
No,
I didn't keep up with
Soggy
it.
Jimbo. Give me
I
one.
didn't keep up with it.
No, but that's a classic though.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No.
I feel so.
It's not classic.
I
Nobody
feel
thinks
like
so. I've never read Red Sun Superman.
Fine. I think it's an independent classic.
I would
Dude,
love.
seriously?
Sure.
Yeah,
You need to read that shit.
I would probably love it. There's probably a lot that
Elseworld shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Elseworlds and otherwise, there's probably a lot of. I probably have a lot of gaping holes in my life.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just trying to make that sound more like.
Just never use
Charlie,
those
do you have
words
one
again.
for us? We're going to end the podcast if not. Charlie's read every comic that's ever been published.
No. That
You've never read DC 1 Million?
he's liked every.
I don't think that's a
That's
classic.
not in a classic.
No.
or essential.
That's like in the quarter bins.
Well, but he
if
did
it's in the
ask
quarter
like,
bins, it's not considered a classic.
He did ask like major event or major book. So I mean, 1 Million was one of the big crossovers. The main series is fine, but
Have any of you read Mouse?
I read the first Mouse.
I never finished it.
25 years ago.
Hey, you want to hear
second
some
Mouse.
really juicy?
Well, because it's
fucking
one book
gossip?
now. Mouse
Yeah.
2 is Mouse 1 also now.
Yeah, it's one book. Yeah,
I have never read.
an X-Men comic.
No,
You are not the number one.
other than the first 5 X-Men, I have not read X-Men 6 through all new.
You're not missing
X-Men.
anything.
No, I know that's.
I've read
I've never been
A
compelled
good
to.
chunk.
But you own all of them.
I own almost all of them.
I've read a
never
good
read
chunk of those. You're not missing anything.
I don't. Yeah, I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
I just feel
It's interesting.
embarrassed about it.
They're interesting. Like I read the first
I read them.
maybe 10 like in the store, like
I have
actual issues.
I have the single issues and I have the
Forever
omnibuses,
ago.
and I've never read them.
So
the milestones, those ones they used to do, right? The silver ones.
Yeah. Masterworks. Yeah.
Masterworks.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
I've read like the first volume of most of those, but nothing after.
yeah, I guess to give context to what I was saying, like I only read Preacher after it was all over.
That's fine.
Most of these sort of big influential books completely missed in like single issues, and it
Actually,
wasn't
I
until
didn't
years and
Preacher
years and
either.
years later till friends are just like, "Holy crap, you never read this?" and would lend me the trades, and yeah,
Happens to me a lot.
All right, guys.
That friend is usually Charlie.
We're going to stop recording this podcast so we can go read some comics we haven't read. I'm just kidding. I mean, go play video games.
We're doing random picks, right?
Oh, you mother! Don't you fucking laugh! I'm sick of you. I
have a random pick.
I'm laughing at
What's your pick?
I have one ready. Well, thanks to Tyler, I actually read a fucking book. Nightwing, the what army?
Oh yeah,
New Order.
New Order.
Oh, the New Order, not Army. Okay, the New Order. I actually
it
really
should
liked
definitely
it.
be a rule that you guys don't help Toby out when
No,
looking to
I actually read a book, so I like to recommend the one book I actually read. So it's a rarity, I know, and I shouldn't be on a comic book podcast since I don't read really. But I read one book because some guy made me read it, and I read it. So I'm gonna recommend my one book, Nightwing #1, The New Order. Fucking loved it. It's an
Elseworld, right?
It's definitely a has to be, but it's a very interesting Elseworld. Nightwing is in a world where established where superpowers are no longer legal. He's on a task force that takes down people that have superpowers still. He did something that wiped out 90% of the superpowers in the world. We don't know what that is yet. We don't know what made him turn yet. And at the end of the book, spoiler level 2.
Fucking,
2, 3?
I don't know.
He finds out his kid has powers. So I thought that was kind of an interesting concept for him to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very curious to go on
Like
with it.
feels like that Future's End.
No, it's been done numerous times before. It's the world is nothing new, but I thought it was a really interesting concept to put Nightwing into there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm really excited for the second
I already
issue.
did my pick. That's Dark Knight, the Dark Knight story. Or Batman
See,
story.
we're going
by Paul
along
Dini.
really fast. Charlie?
I'm going to go with the Jessica Jones comic. I've been
Which
enjoying
one?
the
current.
recent one, the current one. It's good. It's a very good follow up to the old Alias book, and sort of continues the story that Bendis has been telling for, I want to say,
An
2 decades.
omnibus? For a omnibus?
They're going kind of deep into some mysteries leading into Legacy and Jessica Jones, right? Like the post Secret Wars world and what's going on.
Yeah,
because they're talking about they're talking about Maker in there. There's some.
I don't think so. I mean, they did the whole thing about who was trying to kill Maria Hill, and
Who the hell am I thinking of? Oh God, going crazy.
Yeah.
Bryce, your pick.
So I would. This will come as a surprise to nobody, but I've absolutely been loving X-Men Gold. Blue's been fine, but X-Men Gold, Colin Bunn, right? That'd be awkward if I got that wrong.
No, Gold's Guggenheim.
Mark Guggenheim?
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. I'm wrong.
No, he's your favorite CW
Bun is
guy.
blue. Bun is blue.
He's your favorite Arrow / Flash
Oh,
guy.
okay, that's what I'm getting wrong. So I like how Colin Bunn is bringing up a bunch of like. Oh wait, hold on. In blue, I like how Colin Bunn, even though I don't like the story as much, he's bringing up a lot of the classic characters and villains. But I actually like the art and writing of Gold more, just because even though I can't remember Guggenheim's name.
Mark.
He's also doing
Thank you,
Old Man
Toby.
Logan now, right?
Yeah, so
Old Man Logan is Bresson. Bresca's name.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's had for the whole arc. I mean, you know,
I like the Twitter answer to your Iron Fist question. I think it's just one, or he be called the Immortal Iron Fists. That's
hilarious, Toby. That's
I'm the Immortal Iron Fist.
that's hilarious. Anyway, X-Men Gold, go check it out. Go buy it. It's really good.
I really don't know. I have I've talked about everything, and I've recommended everything I've ever wanted to read, and I don't really have just fucking random picks. How did I agree to this?
I'll go for Higgins. Higgins recommends Secret Empire number 10. Secret Empire number 10 was a really good culmination of the story. I was really nervous that they were going to undo everything in the epilogue of that series. Or
we haven't gotten that yet.
Well, actually,
Higgins' recommendation is Wolverine Hulk.
No, I did that.
That was last week.
You actually recommended it?
I did.
No.
No, this is a book that I am super, super happy to see that is becoming more popular because I totally think it deserves to be, and now I'm fucking just lost it again. Here it is. It's an odd commercial to be on a DC app, but okay.
Boring.
Dan Abnett's run of Aquaman has been pretty good during Rebirth. I didn't think it was one of the best, but I've enjoyed it. However, the current arc of Aquaman, Steven Sejic is the new artist.
Oh, he's awesome.
Holy hell.
Wait, as in good or bad?
Amazing.
Oh, okay, I was going to say.
He's doing the cover art, and Joshua Milton's doing Milton? Yeah, he's doing the variants. Dude,
what book is this?
Aquaman. It's so rare that an artist is able to, elevate the writing, but, somehow the writing has gotten
rare
better.
For you.
No, I mean, the story arcs for Aquaman during Rebirth were good, but the last arc was kind of whatever. It's suddenly whoa, this is a completely new title now. Even though it's the same writer, different artist, but the story is is fantastic. The art's incredible. It's Sejic, right?
And what's funny is it's tying in very well.
Don't ask me to say his name.
It's tying in very well with Justice League because he's gone.
Yeah.
So it works really well with the continuity of some of the other books that are out right now that you probably are reading.
Yeah. Aquaman
so when you see
is
that little editor's note. You might want to go check that shit out.
Yeah. Aquaman is a if you skip that on during New 52, come back for for Rebirth. Come back for issue 25 if you can find 25 and 26. They're actually hard to find. Or grab the trade when it comes out. Incredible story arc. Aquaman has been
John's since New 52 has been John's run on it was
good.
Was
yeah,
really good.
It was good. Yeah,
I mean it was a good okay.
After John's left,
it had its ups and downs, but overall it was okay.
Did it have ups?
Nah, it was a couple.
I liked him, but then Abnett came on, and I was like, okay, Rebirth.
Yeah,
but now it's
it's
I
great.
like where it's going.
Aquaman has been killed, quote unquote, by a usurper to the throne and as a new king of Atlantis. But he's actually gone down to the dregs. He lives in the what? He lives in I don't know. He lives in the ghetto of Atlantis now, and he's posing as a kind of a vigilante almost within Atlantis. Meanwhile, Mera is up in the
surface
Amnesty
of
Bay, and is fucking, I'm gonna kill everyone if you don't give me back Aquaman. He's not dead. I know he's not dead. So yeah, it's good. And they brought Dolphin in into Rebirth. She hasn't been in the comics.
Well, and
there's a superhero named Dolphin.
Yeah. It's the girl that floats around.
And it also
Aquaman.
it's also tied in with Titans.
Mm-hmm. Yep, a little bit. Yeah.
Mera's asking Garth for help now.
Well, Mera's kind of in the Justice League.
She's in the Justice League now, but in
she
Titans she comes in to ask Garth for help.
And Aqualad's in Titans, so they're kind of connecting those books a little bit. Yeah, no, really good stuff. All right, thank you guys all very, very much. One of these days we won't do a 2-hour-long podcast when Bryce is here. It's just, I don't know, Bryce.
I haven't been the problem today, bro.
You just make it 2 hours.
You've been the problem today.
Have
with
I?
Your wrong opinions.
Oh, okay. I could usually just tell my wrong opinion and just keep moving on, but you guys keep fighting me, so I have to keep talking.
Well, someone has to do it.
My old lady has no problem with the 2-hour-long podcast.
We have to thank all our good friends from Patreon at the beginning of the month. So thank all our $5 backers. Dennis Jansen, Samurai Godzilla, Alex McHale. Samurai Godzilla is his birth name, too, by the way. Alex McHale, Matthew Schnapp, David Baroldi, Don Kilson, Mark Long, Michael...
This is where you need the water.
Zakevic? What?
This is where you need the water.
Will Roberts, Ivan Leskanik, Brian Morawski, Mason Barber, Miles Gakula, Richard Guerrera, Matthew Holmes, Paula Schultz, Mark Smith, Blake Etheridge, Keith Amaral, David Polanco, Christopher Noyes, Kevin Nguyen, David Safar. No, there it is. Stephen McLeary, Tyra Wiltis, who suggested Nightwing for Toby over there.
Yeah.
Travis Fleischman, Chris Freeman, Christopher Stone, Sit Comics, who we answered that question for earlier. Timothy, Corey Schmolier, right? I think that's right. I'm terrible at pronouncing people's names. God, there's a lot more
you're in charge of it.
People. I know, it's funnier that way.
No,
Aaron Wright, we should have Toby do it next time.
Yeah, no,
Father
we should have that as a tier. If we hit a certain amount,
Fuck
Toby reads all
you.
the names.
Fuck you. Especially fuck you.
Brian
You didn't even
Wilson,
say anything.
I know.
Nick Harrison, Chris Palaki. Am I like, is this like names multiple times, or am I going crazy? Or Kevin Ellis, Chris Olivas, Christina Tatooine, Wally Ansari, Bob Learned, Chris Bunch, Gordon McKenzie, J.R. Burrick, Greg Lindsay, Stephen Hayden, Anthony Egberino, and Andrew Cuscieri.
No,
Thank
if
you guys
you
all
want
very, very much.
names spelled out wrongly, you should have the return of Charlie's Infinite Long Box to come back to make an appearance and have them read the names.
Yeah, what's up with the Infinite Long Box? What's that? You guys just done? Your
They
guys
should read the names. They're far worse than me. Sorry, Charlie.
Your guys are.
That's fine.
Would you say
guys
that
are
they
too busy.
read the names wrong or wrongly?
I will not answer that one.
Thank you to everyone for
you. We
donating
appreciate
money
it.
through Patreon at patreon.com/comicconspiracy.
Please let us know if you would like that as a tier.
No. ComicConspiracyPodcast.com is where you can go to find all our previous episodes, as well as Geekbox.net and iTunes. Rate and review us. It always helps. The Comic Conspiracy, Geekbox.net, is where you can send your long-form contact email. Long-form emails. Thank you. That works.
Longer than 140 characters.
Yes. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. Grant Morrison sale on right now. Go pick up everything by Grant Morrison in DC. Because it's just the DC stuff. ConspiratorBrock.com. Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension. Oh, wait. That's Conspirator Brock's blog.
Video
and Video Polis. Wanderers of the Fourth Dimension is Charlie's Doctor Who podcast, who we just told us is 5 episodes away.
In terms of recording, we have 5 more episodes, and then we're done with classic, technically.
There's still episodes that have not been released, but he's almost done recording conversation, talks, and reviews, and history and notes of every classic Doctor Who episode.
This is pretty freaking amazing.
That's incredible.
That is just so incredible.
And we found out 100 of the audiobooks, all the Capaldi episodes, and they're going to finish off the run.
Yeah.
And then commit suicide because their lives are over. They've wasted their lives.
No. At that point, they start over because they can.
Just do it again. Wibbly wobbly. Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That's my wife's Etsy store.
See,
Go
at that
pick
point,
up some
Charlie
stuff
went,
there.
actually.
Speaking of your wife,
Yes. We hope very soon to have a new print by Leanne. If you're a part of the group or follow us on Twitter, you already saw this. This one may be of interest to people that listen to this podcast because she did a print of The Five of Us. And
Fucking love this.
multiple people have asked if we were going to sell it, and yes, we totally will. So we'll sell them, we'll sign them, and we'll ship them your way. So
or sell them without being signed.
if you
Wait, what are we
don't want
talking
them
about?
signed, but the print.
Oh.
So hopefully we're going to get those printed up in the next few weeks, and we'll have more info as that comes up. So
The
keep
one
an
where
eye.
you look like a young dashing Nightwing.
That was horrible.
Keep an eye
I feel
on.
like I look like horse shit.
What?
Hey, this episode is fucking cool. This X-Men series is
Okay,
like a
great
spiritual
radio.
successor.
Worst radio ever alert.
No, this
Nope,
X-Men
nope.
is like spiritual successor of the 90s and Evolution together.
No,
Ryan
Toby.
Higgins, Ryan, that's me on Twitter. Brock is Brock Sager. Bryce is Larson Bryce. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics on Store. And go check out Geekbox Comedy Button, Good Job Brain, I'll Talk Podcast, and Manga Machinations, a little podcast on our network. And technically under 2 hours.